this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on a battlefield, a survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive.
10 years of speed. 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, live here from the heart of Texas down in Austin for this tricky, and I will say it again, tricky and technical road course here in Texas. Good evening, everybody. Jason Rockfell alongside my producer, also my analyst tonight, Charles Wooten, up here in the booth with me. And man, Charles, it is going to be a fantastic race. I saw a fantastic race here with you on Wednesday night for the Truck Series. Probably going to be expecting some of the same racing here tonight.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see some of the same great racing. And I'm going to be honest, you were like tricky. I thought he was about to say triangle. But there may be a lot of triangle shapes at this track. It definitely isn't a triangle, but it's going to be about as, treacherous as getting around the tricky triangle. This track is not the friendliest to some drivers.
3.426 miles in length, opened back in 2012 for a Formula One, obviously, style race. Was all drawn on a dinner napkin at a table, and obviously this is what we got. This wacky, tricky road course that's 20 turns, has a huge elevation all the way to turn 1, then you go downhill. There it is right there, great shot, all the way from turn 20 there at the end of the straightaway, all the way uphill, down into the hairpin in turn number 1. This is going to be a very, very interesting race here tonight. Qualifying about to begin here in 30 seconds. So with that being said, let's take a look real quick here at the Hunt the Front TV race analysis tonight. No faster pair, 100% fuel load, which fuel will not be a factor because we will get to that in just a second. 5 sets of tires, obviously, in the pits here tonight. Well, 4 in the pits, 1 on the car. 3 green, white checkered attempts if needed, but we will not see an overtime attempt here tonight due to no full course cautions except for the stage breaks, which will come at the end of laps 12 and 25, which will make it a 46-lap race, so no fuel mileage will be in question. We'll see, though, how these drivers break apart the two stages here tonight. And, Charles, we saw some interesting racing going on Wednesday night. I think we both probably expected it to be a really strung out race, but it was anything but that those last 13 laps from the start of stage 3 all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's like they timed those, stage cautions just perfectly. It worked out. It made for some great racing. Again, we both expect to see that here tonight, and I'm glad to say Richie Coy is back. If we're going to advertise that victory fuel, it's good to see that he is racing with us here tonight, as he's one of the first ones out to qualify. But I can't just talk about it enough. It's got the red and the yellow. I like the lemon. I've always liked lemons, and I like their lemon.
That's probably because you definitely liked lemon heads growing up. You probably were a big lemon head candy kind of guy. And I won't deny, those things are pretty damn good. They are really good. I know that they're like the hard style candies. They kind of remind me of Jawbreakers, but I believe they were called lemon heads, right?
Yes, they were. The question is, did you go for the little bitty lemon heads, or did you go for the giant monster ones?
Definitely not the monster ones, I'll tell you that much, because I was not a guy to like hard candy growing up at all whatsoever, unless it was gumballs. So definitely like the lemon heads. They're pretty good. And obviously there's Richie Coy going out on track, and Charles just mentioned him being back. Was not in attendance on Wednesday night, so who knows what kind of race we would have saw had Richie Coy have shown up. So obviously he is racing in the Cup Series here tonight. And you see the victory fuel on the race car there for the number 19 Ford Mustang Dark Horse machine. And remember, if you go to drinkvictory.com, you can use code KOY19 to save 10% off your order. And obviously, you get to try 2 delicious flavors. You have the Lucky Lemon, and you have the Throttle Punch. Charles likes the Lucky Lemon. I have only had the opportunity to try the Throttle Punch, and I will say those boys are really, really delicious when they are ice cold, for sure. And I guarantee you Richie Coy has probably got one of those probably with him here tonight.
Yeah, we definitely agree on that one. They need to be cold. We ain't knocking them. They just ain't so good when they're warm. I mean, then again, not too many drinks are. So that is definitely not a knock to them. Most drinks are not good warm. But Richie Coy out there, and pretty much everyone is on track right now. But man, with this, monster of a track, our back end saying 3.36 rounding mile track, it takes a long time to get around this track. So, we kind of get to ramble for a minute while we wait for times to come in.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously it does take quite some time to get around here. These cars have 5 gears, so they're going a little bit faster, obviously, than what we saw on Wednesday with the trucks. And here's Richie Coy starting his first and only lap, I believe it is, for qualifying. You see him wrapping around turn number 2, about to head through the S's, this time by for the number 19 machine. And Richie Coy is a really, really decorated road course racer. When you take him here at COTA, last year, he was second in 2023A, and then in 2022, he was the race winner here for the debut of the next-gen car at COTA, and led 43 laps combined in both of those races. So Richie Coy is definitely not a sleeper pick here tonight in the number 19 machine for sure. And there's probably a couple other guys too, Charles, that I keep my eye on. That one would probably be Ryan Hedrick right now, who is currently on the racetrack in the number 47 machine. And he was a driver who I thought, man, I don't really ever put down Ryan Hedrick or Lane Allen, for example, down for a lot of races. But when you look at Ryan Hedrick's stats from this track, just from the next-gen era, he was second in 2022A. He led 7 laps that race. And then in 2023 last year, he finished 7th, so he very well could be a dark horse pick coming in here tonight. But, Charles, we saw a lot of guys that were dominators on Wednesday, and then next thing you know, they gave the win to Brody Hanna within the last 6 laps.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's really cool about this league is going from week to week. It's not like, you see domination from 1 or 2 drivers. You really never know who's going to be in victory lane. You have drivers that, do really good in the beginning and fade at the rear. You have people that don't do so good at the beginning and come strong at the end. And then you have a caution-free race, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and you have a major wreck taking out 3 or 4 of the front guys. And, then you have a dark horse or an underdog come in and win the race. So, yeah, you just never know who's going to win this race. As we see a 2:14.847 for Richie Coy. That'll put him in third place currently.
Yeah, what a lap for the number 19 machine, third up on the board. But you want to talk about a lap, talk about Nathan Bigart, debut here on the road courses for the FTSR League Series between the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cup Series. This is his first debut with obviously the FTSR here at the road courses, and he is over 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field right now in qualifying. Also was the leader, Charles, in practice too, so he very well could be a guy who shakes this all up here tonight.
Yeah, we may have as a road course ringing here. Well, it's not going to be this guy, as he just destroys the number 3 machine. So obviously,
the LSR car.
Yeah, not really happy. So we'll go from one broadcast company to another. Let's jump over to the Nerditudes car.
Jeff Chandler, driver the number 31 Nerditudes Martin Sports Machine, obviously, with the beautiful help there of his buddy Doyle Lawrence. I'm sure Doyle is probably more than likely already either the chats or he's probably going to be watching. And yes, he is. He is already in the chats, seeing Doyle Lawrence there, saying he's not a big fan of the road courses. So probably going to be hanging in the back, that being Jeff Chandler, but just got to minimize those mistakes. And Charles Doyle puts out a great point in the chat. Says minimize mistakes. We saw a lot of drivers on Wednesday making tons of mistakes. We saw in the Cup race and over the weekend on Saturday between the Trucks and Xfinity Series, both in the real world. Lots of drivers made mistakes, and it was very, very difficult for them to come back with how big this racetrack is and how much time you could lose if you go off course, if you spin out, if you get some damage. No matter what, you're losing a ton of time if something happens if you just make one little itsy-bitsy mistake.
Yeah, no full course cautions, and only that stage. And that's the thing, that second stage coming at, I believe you said lap 25, you've got a long ways to go after that because there's no caution. So yeah, if you make too many mistakes in that after the second stage, you're unfortunately your night's probably done. If you go, a lap down, or you just get so far back that it's, unrecoverable. So you definitely, valid point, you've got to minimize those mistakes. As 2:14 will put him in fourth position as we go to one of my favorite people to talk to, and that's Michael Blackner. And I promise you, it's not just because he runs a Best Buy car and I spend 90% of my check there.
Yeah, let's try to minimize that, man. Let's try to go down. But then again, Charles, you do a lot of, obviously, technical work on the side of Race On and over here at LSRTV, and also in your own little spare time. I know that you love Best Buy, and obviously that's Michael Blackner in the number 22 machine, posting the only other driver to break below, well, actually, one of 3 drivers to break below the 13-second bracket. Obviously, Nathan Bigart, 2:11, Blackner and Acosta, both in the 2:12s. Everybody else, 2:13 to 2:14s on back. And here is a beautiful-looking car based off Ryan Blaney's Advanced Auto Parts car. Absolutely love it. The number 12 machine, Joseph Grijalva, debuted in the Truck Series on Wednesday night here. Probably wanted some road course experience. Had a good time, had a great run. And Charles, he spun out going through turns 9 and 10, catching the race leader. And it was probably a night of what could have been for Joseph Grijalva. And I'm sure he wants to rebound here tonight.
Yeah, definitely when something like that happens, you want to rebound from it as best you can. And, I'm kind of cheering for him. I didn't know if we've seen this on his car before, but he does have a sizable LSRTV logo on there. So, that gets you brownie points with us. We never pay favorites of any kind, but we do have brownie points. And I had a brownie today. So, you get a little brownie points if you slap the logo on there.
It's not a broadcast, folks. Like I've said many, many times, it is not a broadcast if Charles does not mention Race On, RC Cars, LSRTV, or food. It's got to be one of those 4 to 3 things, and we've already had one. So I guess, Charles, that'll get you a brownie point tallied up here tonight for things that you've mentioned that you enjoy. So, well, I'll have to have a brownie, man. My mom made brownies the other night. I still didn't have them. I have to see if there's any left. I'll probably get one here before, obviously, we start the Northwest, which if you're interested in watching that, starting at 11:30, we will be going live for the season opener for Season 11 of the Northwest Truck Series. Should be a great one. Second full-time season for me with them. 3rd season up on the board. Should be a fun one. Definitely looking forward to that there, Charles.
Yeah, and I had to go look at this real quick on the box. I stand corrected. It was not actually a brownie that I had. Well, it looked like a brownie. Qualifying is over. It was actually a chocolate cake bite from Pizza Hut.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess that'll still kind of count. It'll give you another brownie.
It was
point,
chocolate and brown.
Oh, there you go. At least it wasn't what's out in the yard from your dog, so that's better. So here we go. Getting ready to grid here at Circuit of the Americas. Here we go. Row number 1. Starting on the pole, points leader Nathan Bigart in the number 01 machine, alongside Watkins Glen winner from last season, Michael Blackner in the number 22. Row number 2, Jose Acosta got the redemption from Phoenix after being DQ'd, won last week at Bristol, and he was runner-up at the Charlotte Roval back in October. He's trying to get one done here tonight. And road course ringer Tony Solari alongside him from Fury Motorsports in row 2. Row number 3, Daniel Simmons in the 06, second in the points coming in here tonight, and Jeff Chandler in the Nerditudes Martin Sports Machine to the outside. Row number 4, you'll find Ben Tracy, great qualifying effort, getting better and better each week in the 35, and 2022's winner and 2023's runner-up here, Richie Coy, on the outside in the number 19. Row 5, top 10, James Wallace, solid on the road courses like usual in the 67, and Ryan Hedrick, probably the underdog out of the favorites in the 47.
At row 6, going to be the 9 of Colby, and I've waited to say this. Colby Korn, I've been waiting to say that all week. And on his outside, the 12 of Joseph Grahava. Good run for him. We'll see how he does. In row 7, going to be Brian Double in the 37 and the 57 of Joseph Johnson. Row number 8, going to be Chad Lang in the 4, and then outside the 14 of Lane Allen. Row number 9, going to be the 42 of Kyle Milliken, and the 23 of Brody Hanna, who I believe did not qualify. In row 10, though, going to be the 33 of Sherwood Williford, and the 98 of TJ Bartell.
Row number 11, Jamie Knopf in the 48 machine, been so strong this season, going to be starting in the rear of the field. Chris Beck in the number 44 to the outside in row number 11. Row number 12 goes to Wayne Grassi, James Torrey in the number 6 machine. And then obviously in row number 13, you'll find Brian Bliss and Colton Gum, and that will round out the rest of your starting field. It looks like from the live timing from SDK, it looks like Kyle Milliken and Brody Hanna both missed the start, so they will be held on pit road once they go green for a few seconds, and then will be released out of their pit box. So they will already be starting shotgun at the field. Charles, I'm ready for this race, man. I haven't really anticipated a road course in quite some time, buddy, but from what we saw on Wednesday, I'm assuming it's probably going to be one of the same damn good shows like we saw on Wednesday.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it will be, and let's hope those two do make the race. I know I like giving Brody a little bit of harassing there a little bit. He does like to stay up really late. I know, because I stay up really late with him a lot of the time. So hopefully he didn't fall asleep waiting for this race to get started. He usually takes a nap, and so do I during the day. So we're like two peas in a pod over there. We stay up late, we sleep during the day a little bit, and we get ready for racing at night. So hopefully those two do make it, him and Milliken. But we're about ready to get this thing going.
Fred the pace car driver in the iRacing Porsche will take the hard left down pit lane. 26 cars, heart of Texas down in Austin, 46 laps. Nathan Bigart, Michael Blackner are going to lead him to the green flag, and here we go. We are racing from Austin. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway from Circuit of the Americas here in Austin. They start to get up through the gears, heading into turn number 1. Bigart hard on the brakes, same with Michael Blackner. They head into the hairpin going through turn number 1. Everybody fans out. Remember, no track limits. Everybody fans out. 3, nearly 4 wide as they head into turns 2 and 3 and head towards the S's.
Yeah, this is going to be a good race, and there you go. I love this camera angle, camera 2. and you can see them just snaking through here, and they are all single file already. I did not expect this. I figured we'd have a little side by side, but yeah, they may get it back side by side once they get through that little S bend, and we'll see. Yep, they're already starting to look. You can see them looking to the outside, looking to the outside. They're just trying to find the best place to get around this track.
Grijalva tried to make a move right there on Ryan Hendrick. Oh, one driver sideways coming out of turn number 9. That was Ben Tracy, nearly clips the 67 of James Wallace heading down into there. Now they'll head to turn number 11, hard braking zone, all the way down into first gear. Grijalva kind of almost misses the corner, has to kind of mire back up the racetrack, but he's able to maintain. He falls almost to the front bumper of Colby Mice in the number 9 machine. They'll head down the long straightaway all the way to turn 12, which, Charles, we saw a couple guys overshoot that corner on Wednesday, and here it comes. Everybody hard on the brakes going down the gears.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about this track is, if you have the data we have on the back end as the 35 back off track again of Ben Tracy, nobody's really getting any major speed right now. We're all in about 50 to 75 miles an hour. You're used to these super speedways like we'll see later on tonight with the Northwest trucks, where you're doing 180 miles an hour. No, that's not the case here. You have spots where you get speed, but it's more about, like Doyle said in the chat, it's about limiting your mistakes and getting around this track cleanly without any off courses and wrecking. It's not necessarily about speed. Being slower can make you faster.
Yeah, being slow can obviously make you faster for sure. Remember, the hare did not win the race. It was the tortoise, Not always the fastest wins the race, because if you're too fast, sometimes you can go off course. You can have issues. You got to be methodical. You got to be easy. Not like Chris Beck there. He's going to overshoot the corner big time. Nearly clipped Brian Bliss in the 3. He'll send it wide through the grass. Falls back to the Oberon Toyota machine of Kyle Milliken there in the U.S. Air Force colors, but he maintains on track. Lap 1 is complete. Nathan Bigart, your race leader, over Jose Acosta by about 1.2 seconds, as you see everybody kind of file out after turn number 1, heading for 2, about to hit the S's one more time. And already, Charles, we're seeing this field start to spread out a ton here in just about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, that was a run by Beck. I think he forgot he was in a race car and thought he was in a F-14 there for a minute. he shot out like a rocket through that corner, and that's what we were talking about. Not necessarily the fastest car could win this race, and that's exactly what we're talking about. He just made a simple mistake, though. He learned from it, and he'll recover and hopefully gain some spots back. Because it's just about being smooth out there, and that's what these guys are doing. You find the perfect spots, and this track is a massive track. So the question is, as I'm kind of looking at the track map right now, if you're going to make a pass here, you've probably been on this track more than I have. Where's your optimal spot to try to make that pass?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, Charles, I've actually never turned any laps here at Circuit of the Americas on iRacing, but I've done it enough here, and I obviously know you cannot compare the two, but it's still the same track. You're still kind of hitting, the same braking points. I've done a lot of races in the old Gen 6 car here on Forza 7 before I ever turned to iRacing, and it was one of my favorite road courses to run on that game. And I will tell you what, if you really want to try to maximize probably your passes, I'd say turn 11, great opportunity, probably going into turn number 1, turn 20 possibly, but turns 11 and 12 is probably the places where you're going to want to pass the most. Turn 1, great opportunity as well, but it's a very awkward turn, just like turn 11. Turn 12 is probably the only corner that's about normal, where you go from high speed down into about first or second gear and make a quick, sharp left-hand turn. So from 1 to 11 to 12 is probably where you're going to see a lot of drivers starting to pass one another. You see Brian Bliss tried to pull the crossover there on Williford out of turn number 20, was not able to get it done, and he'll fall right back in behind the driver of the number 23, or rather 33 machine. As you see Brian trying his hardest to get through that 33, and he will. He'll get right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Williford overshoots the corner, puts them 3 wide for just a slight second, falls back to the front bumper of that would be Jamie Knopf there in the 48 machine. And speaking of Brian Bliss, we saw him plow that thing over in the tire barriers in qualifying after his lap. But Charles, I mentioned it beforehand in the broadcast, right before we went live on the air. Brian Bliss is the only driver this season that has gone 5 for 5 with top 10s rather, this entire season compared to everybody else. And right now, obviously, he's there. He's doing a great job. He's just got to keep it on track. I know he's not in the top 10. He's in 19th, but this race could shake up just enough for him to possibly get that 6th top 10 of the year.
Yeah, it very well could be, because where you're at now doesn't mean where you're going to finish. And as we jump to the front, right now the fastest lap of this race is Nathan Bigart with a 2:12.45. And I bring that up because we were looking at qualifying, and we saw some 11s. That's not the case in race mode, though. Is still everybody in the 12s and 13s. So that little one-lap wonder of the 2:11 not replicating in the race. Maybe it'll happen later, but a whole different scenario when you're out here actually on the race trying to stay consistent versus putting down a fast lap.
And I tell you what, I haven't seen a gap like this be put on one of these guys in a road course in quite some time. The only drivers who I can think of that were able to do this were the Moreau brothers. And Charles, I know you're unfamiliar with them, but last season, they did not sign up for this season, but Nicholas and Fred Moreau, the two brothers from Canada, Nicholas Moreau especially, was the race winner here 1 year ago, and he put a whooping on this field, I'll tell you that much. And he was so strong at the road courses, strong everywhere we went when he did show up and race compared to his real life stuff he's got going on, both him and his brother. But man, they were so quick on the road courses. And I tell you what, Charles, from just about 4.5 laps into this race so far, I think we can easily see now who might be the new road course favorite when we do head to them here in the season.
Yeah, and you talk about the whooping they put on. Well, he just put one. Just as I said, he ain't done it yet. Well, Nathan Bigart, 2:11.25. So he might be listening to the broadcast. Said, "Oh yeah, well, hold my root beer because I'm about to run a 2:11 right here," and he did just that.
Hold his root beer indeed, probably, and he was able to do just that. The gap now about 6 seconds from him back to Jose Acosta. And you see the 12 of Joseph Grajaba slowly starting to make his way up through the field there, down in the 9th spot, already up 3 positions from where he started, passing Ryan Hedrick in the 47 machine. That's the battle going on for 9th on back to 12th with Lane Allen, who is also a driver who has some success here at the road course. Finished 3rd in 2022 here, top 10, which was 6th last year, just 1 season ago. And then obviously Ben Tracy, the odd man out, but having a stellar season so far in the 35 machine compared to last year. And the other driver who's making up a ton of ground from where he started would be Colton Gum in the number 10 machine, already up 10 spots. Started 26th, finds himself 16th right now as he's trying to get around the number 57 of Joshua Johnson heading through the stadium portion of the racetrack.
Yeah, he is definitely your biggest gainer and the only one in double digits. So big props to him. And, I don't know if you're able to see it on your end. I'm seeing a lot of red pop up on timing and scoring. And that's every time these guys are, not going, it's technically off track. They're not wrecking, but they are racking up those off courses when they get a little too far below those rumble strips. And they're not too bad right now. Everyone's in single digits, but they're racking up pretty quick as James Torrey getting 16 already. But I want to point out, the reason I mentioned that was because I believe there's 2 right now. Williford and up front, Jose Acosta. 0 off track so far. He has not been off track at all. That is tough to do at a road course.
Definitely tough to do, but it's also not making him any faster there. Still 7.5 almost seconds back from him and Nathan Bigart. Nathan just putting an absolute whooping on the field here in the first 4.5 laps. Chad Lang just gained 2 spots very quickly. And oh, well, there's the culprit right there. Ryan Hedrick, first car in trouble here tonight, right in the S's. Saw him battling with Chad Lang and Colby Mice back for about the 12th spot just moments ago, and you saw him right there in the dirt. We'll see if we can get a replay on it, which we will, because Charles is oh so fast with it. Oh no! Just gets punted from the 12 of Joseph Grajaba. Lane Allen gets a piece of it. Colby Mice does as well. So that was even further up ahead in the field, Charles, than what we thought. It was about an 8th, 9th position And unfortunately, the 12 just overshoots going in there, probably thought he was a lot faster, ran into the back of the 47 and spun him around. And now with that being the first driver getting turned around, we talked about the minimizing of the mistakes. Minimize those. You have to not have any here tonight, and it can cost you valuable track time. He went from about 8th or 9th, and now he is all the way back at 17th.
Yeah, and what this has also done is really spread out this field. Is the 3 hitting the rumble strips, the turtles, quite a bit. The 57 was really slowed up. He was trying to avoid getting into him. Again, as we mentioned, though, they have gotten really spread out. There's this battle, and there's some battles going on here. They're not super close, but they're right there. They're just not as tight as they were a few laps ago. Do you think these guys, and I'd venture to guess they're just trying to bide their time right now to get to that first stage caution?
Yeah, I mean, I would say they probably are, some of them for sure, but obviously they want that track position. This right now, as you see Grijalva go way off track, he's going to lose 2 spots right here probably. This is the battle for those final 3 stage points. Remember, 9th getting 2, 10th getting 1, so this is a hard-fought battle indeed. They're halfway through stage 1. End of lap 12 will be the completion of stage number 1. Lap 25 completion will be the end of stage 2, and then we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag at the end of lap number 46, and it should be an interesting one for sure. As you see the 12 fall back 2 positions, Grijalva already making a few mistakes here tonight.
Yeah, and mistakes, you don't want to do it. We'll hit on that so many times tonight. You don't want to make mistakes. A little bit getting off the course, not a big deal. As we'll get back here. Whoa, there may have been a little contact there between the 10 and the 9. Sorry, not the 9. And the 9. There we go. I did have his number right. Couldn't see it. It's a weird green number.
Corn, buddy.
Yeah, the corn. Let's go back. Let's take a look. You see, Gum is coming up on the 9 right here, and I want to know if there was contact made because it looked like there was. He's going to come into the inside right here and push up, and yeah, sure, he just kind of pushed him right out of the way.
He door checks that sucker right going into turn about 7 or 8, and then Colton Gum able to prevail, and you can see he is doing a much better job up ahead of Colby Mice. It's still gaining spots, man. Colton Gum, didn't talk about him, didn't really have him on my ones to watch list, but doing a fantastic job, both him and Brian Bliss. I mean, I know Brian has had some issues so far here tonight, it looks like, but Colton Gum is just picking off spot after spot. It would not surprise me in the least bit, Charles, if we saw this 10 machine get up inside the top 10 here before this stage is over. He is up 14 spots, Brian Bliss up 10.
Yeah, he is definitely moving on up. And yes, that was a reference to the TV series, as he is just picking his way through this field one at a time. And you got a little bit of a battle starting to brew up here. And that is between the 31, the Nerditudes machine of Jeff Chandler and Richie Coy there. And, partners over there, too. We got, Nerditudes and the Victory Fuel, so those two know each other well. At least the names do, maybe not the drivers. But Richie Coy trying to run down Chandler for, that is, 6th position. We'll see if he can catch him, because every point matters in the overall point scheme.
Yeah, and these two drivers, Chandler and Coy, race on Tuesday nights, which they will compete tomorrow. I believe we are at Circuit of the Americas. I could totally be wrong. I believe it's Kentucky, so we'll be going to Kentucky. You can catch that over on Nerditudes tomorrow. These two drivers go at it there, and it should be an interesting one. You see Jeff Chandler move out of the way, knows Richie Coy's faster, doesn't want to give up any time, and he doesn't really lose any. Lets Richie by, tucks back in line, only loses about 0.2 of a second right there, heading down into turn number 11 as they head for 12. Richie only up 2 spots from where he started outside the top 5, slowly making his way up there, but he's got a long way to go, as you see, before he gets to the back bumper of his Fury teammate Michael Blackner, who sits currently in the 5th spot. In your top 5 so far, Nathan Bigart, Jose Acosta, Solari, Simmons, Blackner, and you go down the top 10, you have Coy, Chandler, Wallace, Tracy, and then Allen right there. That is your top 10 currently as they're heading on to lap number 8. Still a lot of great battling going all around this racetrack. And that's the thing about road course racing, Charles. The leader can pull out to about 10 seconds, but then throughout the back of the pack, boy, it gets really dicey at some of these points.
And it definitely does. And you know, you got to wonder. We know Nathan Bigart's got a nice, sizable lead, but you know, could some of these guys just be kind of holding back? You know, when you've got a fast car on a road course, you don't necessarily want to show your hand. If it was me, I would stay, you know, in the top 5, top 10. You know you're going to have a stage. If it was me and I had my play, my hand, I would just stay up there enough to get some decent points in the stage. And when we came out from that stage 2 caution and we went green, that's when I'd show my hand and I would really floor it. And I would show them what I got, because at that point, they can't come in and make any changes.
Yeah, definitely cannot come in and make any changes for sure. And Nathan Bigart still extending that gap. It is now almost 12 seconds between Bigart to Acosta. And there he is. There's the number 1 machine. He's heading towards turn number 11 here in just a second. And then let's take a look back at Jose Acosta and see what turn he's in. He is just now heading up to turn number 9 and about to hit 10. So a long way to go for Jose Acosta before he reaches the race leader. Probably not going to happen. But Charles, noticed too, remember at the end of stages 1 and 2, we had some drivers stay out at the end of those stages, and we saw a lot of shuffling going around. Some drivers got involved in some incidences. I'm sure we're going to see the same here come the end of stage number 1, whether it be drivers taking the early pit stop to sacrifice some stage points, or maybe even just to stay out purely and try to see if they can make it all the way to stage 2.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see some different strategies going on. And, you know, speaking of different and things changing, you got to talk about Tony Solari, who, you know, at the start of the season had technical difficulties, you know, just plaguing him awful bad. And, you know, here in the last couple of races, being up front, good stages, he has really turned this one around. And, you know, he doesn't have those little gremlins poking at his equipment anymore, and he's actually putting on good runs.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job there in that number 11 machine. And if you look down at the standings, Tony Solari still really mired back. He's got no top 10s, no top 5s this season. He needs these points, just like he needed them on Wednesday, which he almost got. And unfortunately, some late race contact sent him a little bit mired back in the middle of the pack, and he was able to maintain some of those points, won a stage, or maybe I think he won both stages from what I recall, but he's only made 4 starts so far this year, missed Daytona, and here is the 5th race for him here tonight, 6th race of the season. He is currently 171 points back there in the 27th spot in the point standing, so still a long ways to go before he can make it into that playoff grid, or possibly even just up in the driver's standings. And now you're seeing Joseph Grajava try to make a move on Colton Gum, but Grajava's been falling back big time since the start of this race. He's fallen all the way back to right where he started in 12th, but Charles Colton Gum continuing to move up. He's only about 2 seconds back from Lane Allen. He very well could get that one valuable stage point here at the end of this one.
Yeah, he very well could, and you were correct, by the way. He did win both stages, and that's very crucial because, you know, and I've talked to Brody about this. When they did it, you could win stage 1, stage 2, and then have not the best luck in the 3rd stage and not finish good, and you're going to really offset some of those, you know, points that you didn't get in the final stage based on your stage wins. So, yeah, there is a huge emphasis on those stage points. And correct me if I'm wrong, they did not do the stage last year, correct?
Yeah, no, remember last year, if you caught it all on Nerd TV, it was all pretty much the entire season. Keep racing, no cautions at the road courses for the stage breaks. But this year, they decided to bring them back. We mentioned it on Wednesday. NASCAR elected mid-season last year to bring back the stage cautions at the end of the stages for the road course races. Last year's COTA race in real life, they did not have any stage break cautions. They just went to the stages and kept racing. FTSR did the same thing, but this year they brought them back. Stage cautions makes it interesting, gives out some strategy. We'll see how this race ends up playing out as we're starting to close in on the end of stage number 1. Remember, completion of laps 12 and 25 will end both stages 1 and 2, and will take you all the way to the checkered flag at lap 46. Everybody, though, still minding their P's and Q's, trying to do everything they can. But the question is, Charles, does anybody have anything for Nathan Bigart? We saw some dominators pretty much. Not really any clear dominators that were one single driver like we've seen here tonight with Nathan Bigart, because it was such a stacked field there on Wednesday night. But, man, just by the looks of it, I just don't know if anybody's going to have anything for Bigart here tonight.
Yeah, I'm wondering that myself. Is one of the drivers who elected to start in the pits, actually the only driver, Brody Hanna, did not start the race. That is Kyle Milliken. He is coming down pit road, so he's going to get his pit stop just in the nick of time, because pit road does close 2 laps before. So he's going to get in just in time to get tires and fuel, I would imagine. And we'll see. And not sure what that says on the side of the car, but it looks like I don't know. I'm not sure what that image is either.
Oberon Ale from, obviously, Bell's Brewing Company. I know that just because I work in the liquor industry when I'm not broadcasting. So Kyle Milliken been supporting the Oberon Ale from Bell's Brewing Company scheme all year long. Good looking scheme. I like it. Tell you what, though, doesn't really move in my store. No wonder why we probably don't carry it anymore. But the 42 machine stopping for quite some time here, Charles. Believe he might have gotten a penalty possibly, whether it be on the racetrack or probably speeding coming into the pits.
Yeah, we'll find out. He's been there for 50 seconds, and there he goes. Now he's rolling out. So I'm with you. We can't confirm that, but it stands to reason. The only reason other than damage why he would sit there for those extra times, and the car didn't look too badly damaged. So I'm with you. I'm thinking possible penalty.
Oh no!
And if there was a penalty. Man.
Cold tires on the 42 machine, and now he falls all the way back to Nathan Bigart. And this strategy, Charles, for him has completely gone out the window, because we can only imagine with how fast Nathan Bigart is. You see him easily close up to the bumper of the 42 almost, is that he's going to go a lap down. And that strategy was all for nothing due to that penalty. And you see Bigart, he makes the pass on the 42. Kyle Milliken lets him by, locks up the left front with those cold tires, trying to get them warmed up as they head through turn 7, 8, and about to hit 9. Nathan Bigart puts his first car 1 lap down, being the number 42 of Kyle Milliken. James Torrey, though, 3 laps down, currently in 25th. And remember, Brody Hanna did not start the race. Looked like he was going to start on pit road, and he did not make a single lap so far. So probably not going to be in attendance tonight, being the 23 FTSR machine of Brody Hanna in 26. Here's a great battle going on for the 9th spot. Lane Allen, Ben Tracy. As you see the 14 go way wide out of the S's, went all 4 tires below it. And remember, that is not a pass-through penalty like it is in the real world here at COTA. It is a time penalty, and you are supposed to yield the amount of time that you gain to the driver behind you. So maybe a penalty, maybe not. Looks like he's still running currently. I believe Lane Allen was able to complete that pass very quickly as you see them head into turn number 11. Ben Tracy nearly runs into the back of him. They head through the corner. Allen presses down on the throttle, gets away from Tracy. Look out, Colton Gum about to make his way into the top 10 here pretty shortly.
Yes, we watched that battle kind of unfold. To go back to the issue of the spin out there from Milliken, almost makes you wonder if he got a little frustrated from the penalty, and then he knew the leader was coming. They have a relative. They know if the leader's coming, and he just tried to gun it a little bit just to get out of pits and get ahead of him, and instead it's so a little insult to injury, but he'll bounce back. He is by no means done. We got a long season left to go, so we'll watch him. I'm sure he'll recover from this once we get to some stage cautions and potentially get the lap back, hopefully, and just go from there. And that's one thing you cannot do. You get a little frustrated. You just got to keep a level head and go at it again. It's not over until it's over, and that's when the checkered flag flies. And we still have quite a few laps for that. We got 35 laps before that happens.
And it's a long racetrack. Remember, this track being 3.426 miles in length, 20 turns, so we'll have a long time to obviously rebound after that spin and going a lap down, which more than likely he will end up with the lucky dog here. Chris Beck back by 1 minute and 49 seconds, so not exactly going to be a lap down As they're on the final lap of the stage, Nathan Bigart heading down the straightaway right now, going into turn number 12. There's Kyle Milliken all the way coming out of 11 right now. But, I mean, Charles, this has been just such a clinic so far for just 12 laps into this race put on by this 01 machine. You can already just see it's going to be really hard to beat this guy here tonight, and he's on the way possibly to his first FTSR victory.
Yeah, he is definitely on his way there. And again, in dominant fashion here, Justin. Again, this is only stage one. You know, anything's possible, but I'm with you. You know, this could be his first win here. It's definitely, I can say, I think 100% with certainty at this stage anyway, this is his race to lose. If he makes a mistake or, does something crazy on pit road, that could hinder him, but this is his race to lose right now here in stage one.
And right before we went obviously live on the air, we were talking just for a minute at the Fury Motorsports guys, and they were saying, hey, we might want to get Nathan Bigart on our 24-hour team next year, and they might have to after that clinic put on in stage one. Caution will come out. Nathan Bigart will win stage number 1. Jose Acosta second, Solari third, Simmons fourth, Blackner in fifth. Your top 5, top 10 goes to Richie Coy sixth, Chandler seventh, Wallace in eighth, Lane Allen ninth, Ben Tracy finishes in the 10th spot. So already some interesting racing going on here, Charles. I can only imagine what we're going to see here for stage 2.
Yeah, we're gonna see it ramp up a little bit, I think, in stage 2, and we'll just have to kind of wait and see if anybody has anything for Bigart. Again, dominating stage 1. We'll see if they have anything for in stage 2.
Kyle Milliken will get the Lucky Dog Award here once they do come down onto pit road. But with that being said, we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening. We'll be right back after this for the start of Stage 2. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series on LSRTV.
Years of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
drag race to the line.
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Drivers have finally made it down to pit road, and look at this interesting strategy. Tony Solari beats the 01 out of the pits. Drivers electing to take 2 tires. Nathan Bigart will lose the race lead here at Charles and will fall all the way back to 4th, but he'll be the first one on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, that's an interesting call there, and yeah, we got Tony Solari 7 seconds on pit road, Costa 11.2, Coy 6.9, and then like you said 14.5. We know that's a full 4-tire fuel stop. Pretty much beyond that, and I'm not sure what happened to Ben Tracy in the 35. Let's see if we can't get a replay on this one. I'm curious. We're going to have to go back a little further. He was set only 0.5. Yeah, he missed his stall, I think. No, he would tell you, okay, he did get a stall, but it's not giving us time. He said only 0.5 on pit road. So he did get his service done. So a little glitch in the timing. I figured he might have missed his stall or something, but no, he did get service done. So that's good. You know, if you didn't go in now, that could be detrimental to your race.
Yeah, and obviously the pit boxes here at Circuit of the Americas is really, really tight, really, really narrow. Especially you think to yourself with how narrow but yet long a Formula One car is, or just in general open wheel racing. So the pit boxes here are a little bit more awkward than you would say your typical 1.5-mile racetrack. So that's probably why that happened, but they're continuing to turn under the pace laps. Look at Tony Solari leading this race. I wouldn't say I like the call, but I'm not favoring against it. Tony knows what he's doing. He likes road course racing. He was really strong on Wednesday night here, Charles, and now he's going to be the leader here on the restart.
Yeah, and we got, what, till 25, so we got about 10, 11 laps to go. Going to be a few less than that. You know, I'm not either. You know, I think he's got a good call. I'd be willing to bet, and if we get in the top 3, we'll talk to him. I will see your opinion. I'm willing to bet he knows he's not going to get the stage win. But what he is going to do is be up there and hold it as long as he can and click off laps. And then, you know, fade back 1, 2, 3 spots. And then he'll be in the top 4, top 5 still at the end of the stage.
Yeah, and it should be a really interesting stage here. We're going to have probably less here than obviously 10 laps to go. Or actually, we probably will have 10 laps to go until the end of the stage. We'll probably restart here on lap number 16, so give or take 16 or 10 laps to go when they restart the race here, unless somehow miraculously they're going to get the 1 to go signal here anytime, but I doubt they will. So with that being said, obviously everybody's still under the field of the pace car. And looking at the leaderboard right now, Charles, I mean, we've already talked about Colton Gum here. He's 14 spots up from where he started in 12th. Didn't get those stage points. He was just shy, finished 11th in stage 1, but I expect this number 10 car probably right here to do some really heavy lifting here in stage 2.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen pretty much all season. You know, you kind of bide your time. He was trying to get up there, but, you know, it's going to ramp up even more in this stage, and then, you know, it will ramp up even more in the final stage. And that's exactly what you would expect. These guys, you know, they're what you call experts. You know, they know what they're doing, especially a lot more than I know what I'm doing. This is why I'm in the booth and not on the track. And I don't think I ever competed in a road course race on here. So it was not my cup of tea. I did not want to do road course racing. I know a lot of these guys probably don't like it either, but they have to be here if they want those points so they can run for the championship.
Well, I think after that, I think we should definitely get you set back up on the wheel. I know you obviously were really excited for them when Millbridge came on in the recent update a few weeks ago, obviously. with the micro sprints and everything like that. So without that, and there you go. There's the parts. There's the Dave Motorsports logo. Charles likes to throw some curveballs at me sometimes that I don't notice until the last minute. So go over to Dave Motorsports for all your racing parts. Big partnership, obviously. We have a commercial with them. So Dave Motorsports, go check them out for sure. If you are in the racing business, they provide so many different parts for race cars. But Charles, like I said, man, let's get you on a road course. I want to see you wheel and deal, man.
Well, it's funny. I don't have the wheel. I would have to get another wheel. But I was driving the micro the other day, and I'm not gonna lie, it is possibly doable at this point. The problem I had in the past was I was all, dedicated producer, and I still am. That's my job. But I didn't have the setup. I do have a new 32-inch monitor coming that I want to play with a little bit, and I do have iRacing on both of the computers, and I've got the single monitor perfect setup. With the desk, plenty of room now. I didn't have the nice desk where I can mount, so I have the perfect setup for it now. So it is a possibility to get me a nice wheel, a little G29 30 240, whatever they are now, and we might get on the track again.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to see you get on the track. And one guy we got to get on the racetrack too is probably Wesley Outland. Wesley, I know that Terry Radford, obviously, one of our colleagues, Terry was saying that we got to get Wesley Outland on a wheel and pedals. And he was thinking about doing that when they called one of the virtual races, when they were calling the Florence 400, I believe it was, a couple years ago. I remember it was our season finale for the Northwest Racing Division. And Terry kept saying, we got to get you on a wheel. We got to get you on a wheel. And Wesley denies, and he just will not get on a wheel. One of these days, mark my words, we will get him on a wheel in some way, shape, or form there, Charles. And these guys are heading down this long back straightaway right here. Everybody warming up these tires. Give you the top 10 rundown right now. Tony Solari and Jose Acosta have row number 1. Row 2 there, you see Richie Coy, Nathan Bigart, the 01 machine, stage 1 winner. Probably going to try to see what he can do here. Row number 3 there, you see Jeff Chandler's in the Nerditudes machine. Alongside him, he's got Michael Blackburn, the Best Buy car. Row 4, you see Daniel Simmons. Been a quiet night for him. Lost 2 spots from where he started. He's alongside James Wallace. And then row number 5 there to lock out the top 10 would be Ben Tracy and Lane Allen. Charles, I asked you the same thing on Wednesday night. What do you think we're going to see here in stage number 2?
Chaos. Complete chaos. No, I think we're going to see a little bit more beating and banging. These guys know what they have. They know what they want, and that's to get by that 01 machine. So, they really are going to start ramping up. They've got to, make something happen. If the car isn't going to naturally do it, you've got to make it do it. What's that old saying? It ain't the fastest car that wins. It's the guy that refuses to lose. I think that's what you're going to see here. They're going to have to choose or refuse to lose, and you saw that with the 11. Taking the pit stop he did. He's making stuff happen that isn't naturally going to happen because he, didn't have the speed he needed.
I'm just really interested to see how these 2 tires are going to hold up for the 24, the 11, and the 19 because Nathan Bigart's the first one on 4 fresh tires. Everybody else just took right sides under that caution when the stage break ended, and we did go to pit road when we came back from commercial break. And really, honestly, Charles, all 3 of these drivers inside that top 3 are capable of running fast despite the 2 tires. But again, Nathan Bigart, he's just so damn fast tonight, man. Pulled out to a 15-second lead over Jose Acosta there at the end of stage 1, and we're going to see what they're all about to do here as they wrap around turn number 20. Tony Solari going to lead them back down here to the Geico restart zone alongside Jose Acosta as they creep through it. It's all the way down this straightaway here. It's kind of hard to tell where it is, but they're about to hit it right now. Green flag's back out in the air. There they go. And look at this. The 24 machine gets a great restart. That might be a penalty. He had that issue earlier at Phoenix, in which made him DQ in the race. So we'll see what the officials have to say. You cannot beat the race leader to the line on restarts. They made that very clear at Phoenix. We'll see what happens. Nathan Bigart, though, already up to second. You see some jockeying for position back here. Lane Allen, Daniel Simmons, Ryan Hedrick all battle through the S's now.
Yeah, and you definitely, you believe you have a chance to give those positions back. If you don't, yeah, you will get DQ'd, and, we don't want to see anyone DQ'd, but, yeah, it benefited me last time. I got some free drinks out of it, but, yeah, we don't want to see anyone get DQ'd. So, yeah, definitely, we hope he doesn't get busted with it, but if he does, it's going to be tough. I don't know what the ruling is in here. I would have to talk to Brody on it. You can give them back or at the next caution or something like that, but if we don't have full course cautions, that can be tricky, but we will have the stage caution. So best case scenario, I think, Jason, is he just doesn't get busted with it.
Note taken for sure. We'll have to see what happens to the 24 Jose Acosta. He still has the lead over Big Art by about 0.6 of a second. They start to head into the stadium section portion of the racetrack out of turn 12 through 13, all the way to about 17 and 18. You see the 24s back in, sliding out, having a really good run so far here tonight. He's ran second in the stage. Last week's winner at Bristol redeemed himself from the DQ at Phoenix. And remember, when we were on the air, we all thought that the 24 won. Went back to do my notes when we came back, obviously for Bristol, and obviously due to technical difficulties, we were not able to put that on. So thank you, #Vexus Internet, for that one. I know Charles does not like them at all, but hopefully, knock on wood, they don't give us a problem here tonight. Ben Tracy, though, real quick, before I go back to what I'm saying, Ben Tracy dropping through the leaderboard, something of a miss on the 35 machine, maybe got looped around there, heading out of the stadium section, maybe through the carousel. We'll have to take a look and see if maybe we can get a replay on that. But remember, Jose Acosta got DQ'd after Phoenix. We were getting ready for the broadcast last week before all the issues, and I was told, I was like, hey, what happened? Why isn't Acosta on the leaderboard? Is there an issue with the website or what's going on? And they said, oh yeah, Jose Acosta got DQ'd. I said, why? What for? What'd he do? He did nothing wrong, it looked like. And then they gave us the explanation about him beating the leader back to the restart line and obviously then jumping the restart. So he was nabbed for not one, but 2 incidents there, resulting in a DQ. So we'll still keep a close eye to see what happens on that 24 machine.
Yeah, that would be awful to get nothing, dinged twice for it in as many weeks there. So hopefully that does not happen, and I'm keeping an eye on the battle for the lead. It's not quite there, but it is starting to brew as Big Art is running down Costa right now. And, no surprise, he got 4 fresh tires out there on that machine versus 11.2, so 2 tires and some fuel. I don't think it's going to matter. I think he's going to get by him. The only way he's not is if he holds the line and doesn't let him by. But I think Big Art's just too fast for him.
Big Art definitely too fast. You saw he almost thought about making a move there going into turn number 13 as they head through 14, 15, 16, and 17. You're going to see this 24 start to go a little bit wide off the corners. Back end kicks out, gets a little loose, opens up the door for Big Art. Not able to get to the inside of Acosta. They head through the carousel through 18, about to head into turn number 19 and then 20, back to the start-finish line. They hit lap number 18 out of 25 in this stage. Acosta doing a great job holding them up. Here comes Big Art, though, to the inside. Who's going to outbrake who? Into turn 20, the 24 wide arcs it through the corner. They made contact out of the corner. Acosta still holds the race lead. And Tony Solari, Charles, loving what he's seeing out of the windshield.
Yeah, he is definitely loving what he's seeing as he's going to help reel these guys in a little bit. And we're staying high above. We want to watch all of this. Oh, and a little door slam.
Contact. Contact for the race lead there again. Big Art tried to throw it down into turn number 1. Could not make it work. Made contact with the 24 machine. And now Tony Solari has reeled them in. And Richie Coy coming in a hurry behind them in the 4th spot. Michael Blackner in 5th as they go through the S's all the way into turn 7. About to hit 8 and then 9. Acosta still with the race lead. Big Art is hungry for that lead. He wants to keep extending that points lead. Coming into tonight, he had a 28-point gap over the 06 of Daniel Simmons. You can only imagine what it's going to be right now after the stage win. And and he wants stage number 2. There he goes to the inside through turn number 11. Acosta on the gas, but the 01 has a great exit. They're side by side here down the straightaway.
Yeah, this is going to get real good as these two battle, and it's allowing, like you said, Solari and Coy and Blackner to reel them in. So we'll wait and see as they're going to drag race here just a little bit. And I believe Big Art may get him. Yeah, it looks like he is as Acosta goes way wide.
Oh, no! Tony Solari around off the bumper of the 24. Comes down off turn number 12. Went way wide, tried to arc it, but overshot the corner. Came back onto the course and nagged Tony Solari right in the right rear quarter panel, Charles. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming as we'll watch the replay here. And you see them two battling ahead. He goes wide and just comes back onto the track and just hooks him. Not sure, maybe he thought he was clear, but he was not. And just, trying to, basically trying to lose as little amount of positions as possible, and just came right back onto a heavy track. And well, unfortunately there were tons of cars around, and Tony Solari going to get the worst end of it.
And Tony Solari is probably not happy inside of that number 11 Menards Ford Dark Horse Mustang for sure. And I mean, Charles, honestly, and obviously as a commentator, I never want to throw people under the bus. I typically not. We're commentators up here in the booth. We just call what we see and what we think, and we give our opinions. But right there, I mean, that's just probably a lack of awareness. I don't think Acosta probably even knew that the 11 was going to be right there up on the outside near the rumble strips almost, coming off turn number 12. But unfortunately, Acosta thought wrong, clipped the 11, and like I mentioned, I can only imagine how probably fuming Tony Solari is. He was running third. Now he resides back in the 9th spot, trying to climb back to the top 5.
Yeah, I'm with you. We never want to throw him under the bus and run him over, but yeah, I agree. Just didn't probably realize that there was a car right next to him, and he's trying to race. He's trying to do what he has to do to still try to be in this after going off track, and just came back on and didn't realize the 11 was there. 11, it was purely a racing deal. The 11 may not see it that way right now, but he's a little hot under the collar, I'm sure. But we'll see. He may have a few choice words for him. But yeah, it was just a racing deal, and hopefully Solari can recover from it. He is currently 9th, so he did drop a few spots, but I think he's got a fast enough car. He can definitely recover.
I think he can too. It's just frustrating, especially at a road course, Charles, like we mentioned, about minimalizing mistakes and not having anything happen to you. I mean, he was third, now falls all the way back to the 9th spot. It's going to be a long time before he finds that top 5. It's going to be quite some time. Oh no, and Daniel Simmons, something happened to the number 06 machine. Believe he might have went for a loop possibly. Saw him just drop a little bit in the live timing and scoring pylon. And now he falls all the way back to the 11th spot. And remember, he is second coming into tonight to the 01 of Big Art in the points, so he needs to gain as many points as he can. Let's take a look here at the LSRTV replay. You see him by himself currently, heading through the corners, and just like we thought, loops it around right in the corner, tries to do a little donut in the grass, gets right back on track, right in front of Ryan Hedrick, and does just that. And like that, Charles, a couple spots lost by the 06 could be valuable points for him against the 01.
Yeah, that incident right there while we watched it, pretty much the same incident. Not exactly the same, but same concept of what happened with the other two just a while ago. He went off and he came back on the track, and it was just a matter of there was someone there versus nobody being there, and he got on without any further incident. So it's just one of those deals. Sometimes you get lucky and there's no one there, and sometimes you don't. So unfortunate for both of them, but again, I think we got time. We still got a stage caution coming up in 5 laps that they can regroup and go again.
Yeah, we're going to see that here at the end of lap number 25. You see the 06 of Daniel Simmons trying to rebound, get into the top 10. He could see it, and he gave Colton Gum the position. And speaking of positions being gained, Richie Coy, after the mishap between the 11 of Solari and the 24 of Acosta, Richie Coy got the 2-for-1 special heading into turn number 12 in between that from 12 to 13, got past them, finds himself in second, back by about 6.9, 7.1 seconds from him to Big Art, doing there in the second spot. Joseph Grajava, look at him there in the fifth spot, up 7 spots from where he started, doing a great job in that number 12 machine. Close, I say that, he goes wide in the corner, slides the tires, falls outside the top 5, only loses 1 position, and he might even keep it right here as you see the 31 of Jeff Chandler battling with him. Those tires are going to be hot, they're going to be a little bit steamy, and they're going to be slick here as you see the 31 trying to make it to the inside of Grajava. But besides that, here tonight, Charles had a couple mishaps, doing a great job in that number 12 machine.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. And again, I still think some of these drivers may be holding back a little bit, biding their time, not showing what they have until that final stage. About 4 laps or so. So that'll give us about 20 laps in the stage. So actually a little over 20 laps. My math is horrible today. But I think some of these guys are definitely holding off for that final stage to show what they really have.
Yeah, we'll have to see, obviously, what goes on. Remember, in Stage 3 on Wednesday night, we saw a hell of a battle between Tyler Brown. We saw other drivers, Tony Solari. We saw Joseph Grajava in his debut in the Truck Series try to pull off the unthinkable and win in his first start, but he did everything but that and looped it around, going through the corner, battling for the win, and they gave it to Brody Hanna, and he picked up the win here at Circuit of the Americas on Wednesday in the Sim Racing Points Truck Series. And remember, 23 of Brody Hanna did not start tonight, was registered for practice in the session, but did not start at all tonight. We'll see if we can get an update later on, or at least by next week, to see what happened to the 23 machine. But it was a great finish, great race overall tonight. We've seen the 01 do really great things, but other than that, Charles, besides the dominating factor for Nathan Bigart being the dominator tonight, it has been a good race. We've seen a lot of slipping and sliding. We've seen a lot of mishaps. We've seen a lot of great battles. I can only imagine what Stage 3 is going to bring us like it did on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here looking at off tracks, from these drivers. And you go up here to someone like your leader, Nathan Bigart, 7 off tracks out of the 20 laps completed, working lap 21. You got 8 for Richie Coy. You only have 3 for Acosta. You got 9 for Blackner. Keep in mind, this is your 5th place driver. Grajava, he's in 5th place right now, 53 off tracks. So apparently going off track a little bit, doesn't necessarily slow you down either.
Yeah, 53 off tracks is definitely a lot, but you see the number 12 machine still wheeling a deal and holding that 5th spot despite the lockup and near spin going in to turn number 16 there, going through the stadium section before they hit the carousel, still holding it over the number 31 of Jeff Chandler. Tony Solari, though, slowly starting to make his way back up. He went from 9th up 2 spots now from the spin out with him and Acosta. We'll see what happens. Maybe if Solari gets back to him, he'll race him a little bit differently. Obviously, if you intentionally turn a driver on purpose in this series, you will most definitely be suspended. Think about one in particular last year at Richmond, which we'll be heading to next week on the schedule. Chris Beck got suspended, got to sit on the couch for 1 week after turning, I believe it was Ryan Chapman in the 27 machine blatantly going into turn number 1 and gave him a 1 week vacation. So that is definitely frowned upon here throughout the division and obviously the series in general. So we very well could see the 11 of Tony Solari rough up the 24 machine, probably might not wreck him. Obviously doesn't want to be suspended, but he probably is going to race that 24, I would assume, a lot differently, Charles, later on.
Yeah, he definitely will. You had me, you said he'd get a 1 week suspension, and I'm like, man, that sounds horrible. And then you were like, yeah, you get a 1 week vacation. I'm like, oh yeah, I like vacation. And then you went back to suspended, and I'm like, darn, it's a suspension again. I was taking the vacation. I would love a 1 week vacation. Either way, all jokes aside, yeah, you don't want to wreck somebody intentionally, and hopefully Tony wouldn't. I don't think he's that type of driver. But I don't fault a driver, and this sounds bad on air, but I don't fault a driver for intentionally spinning someone who raced them a little dirty. or spun them out, whether they did it intentionally or not. And I don't think that was intentional. But, yes, you should be penalized for it, but it also shows they have passion for this, whether it's sim or real. He has that passion. He's getting frustrated and irritated. So it shows that, he's just not out here, whatever. He doesn't care. He actually does care and has passion, and that leads to tempers.
And here goes Richie Coy making a move on the 24, rather the 24 making a move on the 19. Whoa, Michael Blackner off track there, going through turn number 1. He was able to save it, nearly went all the way to the gravel trap, but he's able to save it. And look at this, here we go. Kyle Milliken gonna try to see what he can do. Won't have the speeding penalty like he did in stage 1, so this strategy could pay off for the 42 machine. He was a driver I had circled into tonight. Remember, went a lap down, got the lucky dog, got back on the lead lap, pits from about mid to upper part of the pack, and now he's on pit road, so no penalty given to the 42. This pit strategy will probably put him out front come the end of stage number 2 here, electing if he does in fact stay out, which he probably will here. And you look back, 4th in 2023 last year, finished 5th in the truck race on Wednesday, so he's not that bad here. Kyle Milliken is not a bad pick when you come here to these road courses to finish inside the top 10 or even top 5, maybe even a shot at the win if given to the 42 machine. So we'll see what it does for him, Charles, in stage 3.
Yeah, and the good news in that, there were no tires in that. It was fuel only for the 42 of Milliken. So, will he come down and take tires at the next stage? You almost think he has to. We'll keep an eye on that and see if he does. And, we're starting to see what we didn't see in the truck race last Wednesday, and that is them getting very strung out. The closest battle's right here between, that is the 14 and the 67, 67 and the 10, my bad, of Gum and Wallace. Again, that is the closest battle. They are very strung out, but we only have 2 laps, and we get another stage caution.
Yeah, remember, completion of lap 25 will end stage number 2. Nathan Bigard been putting an absolute whooping on the field here so far tonight. Started in 4th at the restart for stage 2. Made it back up to the front and now resides in that first place spot. But not nearly enough, Charles, of a gap like he had over Acosta at the end of stage number 2. Remember, it was about a 15-second gap. It's only 7.3. So I'm kind of starting to maybe think to yourself, or think with you, man, maybe these guys are holding back the reins just a little bit. We know how good Richie Coy is here. Remember, last 2 races, average finish of 1.5. He won in 2022. He finished 2nd just 1 year ago. And look at this battle going on. Acosta nearly gets to the bumper, puts it to him. That being Richie Coy is ahead into turn 7, about to hit 8 and 9. Acosta wants that 2nd place back, and he is hunting down the number 19.
Yeah, he is definitely hunting him down, and yeah, I think somebody's playing a little possum here, and not showing their hand fully as there.
Oh, he got into him!
Wow.
Oh, and they're both going to overshoot the corner. The 24s into the barriers. Jose Acosta, aggressive on the racetrack, tries to get to the bottom. You see Grijalva side by side with him, 24 through the grass. Talk about Luke and Bo Duke there. Dukes of Hazzard style through the grass. And here's the thing, Charles. I don't necessarily blame the 24 here. As you look at the replay, he peeks out. Richie Coy throws a bit of a block on him. Puts the 24 in a scenario where they both are going to go off track. I mean, if you look at it, it's a racing deal. But at the end of the day, you could have thought to yourself, if you're Richie Coy, maybe I shouldn't have went that low. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown the block on the 24, because ultimately the 24 ends up losing a ton of spots. Well, not a ton of spots, but loses a ton of time. Richie Coy loses a little bit of time. Almost falls back to Michael Blackner. He's still 2nd, but Acosta there falls back from 3rd to 5th and about to lose it.
Yeah, we're going to bunch these up here shortly. This ought to make it real entertaining when we do. We're going to have some tempers flaring here, and we're not even at Bristol. This is not short track racing. So, yeah, I'm getting real interested to see how that stage caution is going to go when we bunch these guys up and they're side by side, bumper to bumper, and they realize, hey, that guy right in front of me is the guy that just doored me or pushed me off the track. So, yeah, it's going to get real fun.
And Jose won last week again at Bristol, leading 40 laps over Jamie Knopf, who led 99 that race. And only less than 10 cars finished on the lead lap, similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago in the real-life Bristol race. And obviously, it should be an interesting one for the finish. But we're on the final lap of stage number 2. Big Art only out front by a little less than 8 seconds over the number 19 of Richie Coy there, as he wraps around 7, 8, about to hit turn number 9. It just amazes me, Charles, at how good this 01 machine is. He came on late into the scene at the end of 2023, finished well at Phoenix, got some laps led, and then he comes into this season and he's leading the points, man. I mean, we're used, last year, me and Jeremy Stanley over at Nerd, we were used to seeing Richie Coy dominate the season, and so far it has been really anything but that. I mean, but Richie Coy, actually. Richie Coy is 4th in points. He's only got that one win, and it was because of the DQ due to Jose Acosta's penalties at Phoenix. So Richie Coy, if you really think about it in retrospect, has not got a legit win so far out of 5 races this year. He got the one win handed to him. Not saying it was handed to him, but it kind of was. But Nathan Bigart has yet to win a race, but he's been the most consistent driver so far this season, coming into tonight with 129 laps led, 4 top 10s, and 3 top 5s. I mean, he's just been doing such a great job. This kid's doing some awesome things, and I think he could be very well en route to his first victory here tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's en route to it. Again, you know, the one thing I think that, well, 2 things I think is going to cost him the win. 1 is he makes a mistake and he hurts himself. Or 2, we had some sleeper cells out there that aren't really doing what they fully can do. But that will be determined here shortly as we are officially in stage number 2 completion. We'll go into stage number 3, and this is where if you got something, you got to just show it.
Big Art wins over Richie Coy for stage number 2 by a little over 6 seconds, and it was a lot less, Charles, than what it was at the end of stage 1. Again, over 15 seconds from Acosta to Big Art. This one, just under 7. So Richie Coy might have something for this number 01 machine. Here's your top 10 for stage number 2. Nathan Bigart comes home sweeping the first 2 stages. Can he sweep the race? We'll have to find out. Richie Coy 2nd, Blackner 3rd, Solari 4th, with almost a Fury Motorsports top 4 lockout there. Jose Acosta comes home top 5. Joseph Rojava 7th, Lane Allen 8th, Colton Gum gets those stage points, finally comes home 9th there in stage 2, and Daniel Simmons comes home 10th for stage number 2. And Charles, I think you're absolutely right here. I think that these guys are maybe going to have something for the 01. We saw what happened at the end of stage number 1 with the pit stops. Drivers elected to take 2 tires. The 01 elected to take 4. But ultimately, when you look at it again in retrospect, it almost paid off. It almost paid off, for gosh sakes. I mean, the 19 machine was back less than what Acosta was, and they were on equal tires, and they weren't even on equal tires at the start of this stage. So I am really intrigued here for the start of stage 3.
Yeah, you and me both. You know, if you can stay up with someone with 2 tires and they have 4 tires, that's double the rubber. So we'll see. I think it's going to be real good here in these last 20 laps or so. About 18 probably when we take the green.
And it should be interesting. With that being said, we're going to take our second commercial break of the evening. Nathan Bigart picks up stage number 2. Picked up stage number 1. Can he close it out and get his first career FTSR victory? We're going to find out here in a few moments, possibly. We'll be right back after this.
Years of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Drag race to the line!
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series Stage 2 completed. Nathan Bigart sweeps both of them, trying to see if he can complete the triple and sweep all 3 stages and pick up his first career victory. And with that being said, drivers are on pit road. Charles, we were just talking about how interested. We were like nerds talking about video games for a second there. Going under the caution flag, electing pit stop, seeing what happens. We're about to find out, man. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting, and we'll get close. We want to see what these doing. We know they're taking right sides. Will they take lefts? And
there we go. There's 1, 2, 3 drivers.
3, but the 2 we wanted to see. And there goes Richie Coy. And looking at Richie Coy's times real quick, we'll see what he took. A 13.1. So possibly that's very close to 4 tires and fuel.
I would almost probably say that it was definitely 4 tires and fuel, and Nathan doesn't just lose 3 spots like he did at the end of stage 1. He loses 5 spots at the end of stage number 2 here. He's going to restart 6. So when you look at this, Charles, the top 4 have elected to take 2 tires. They still have the old ones on, that being Acosta like we saw. And here we go. Let's take a look here and see what happened with the 24 machine on pit road to see if he takes 2 tires or 4. And we can also see Richie Coy right there at the bottom left. You'll see him here in just a second. Trying to see.
He didn't take tires at all.
Oh my! Yo, tell me he. Hold on, back this dang thing up for a second. We got to take a look at Richie Coy. Let's just see real quick. I want to see if there's no way this guy did not take tires. Come on, Richie.
We know Acosta didn't take them. We're going to find out what happened with Coy. Did Coy take tires? We know Acosta didn't. That car is not getting lifted up.
No freaking way.
Nope.
There's no way. Richie Coy only takes fuel.
Wow. Well, that one threw me for a loop.
I think it threw us both for a loop because we almost were guaranteed thinking that with the look of the pit stop, you said it was about a little over 13 seconds, which is damn near close to a 4-tire stop, and the man doesn't even take 4 tires. And Charles, the only thing I can think of is that's going to hurt the 19 maybe.
Well, unless they know something we don't know, and if he manages to win this or get a top 3, we definitely talking to him about tires because he must have like those Cole Trickle special sauce tires or something because he knows something we don't know.
They're special tires. They're special tires. His way, my way. Oh, love Days of Thunder. We love Days of Thunder in this household. Absolutely love it. But I will still say, if you really do want a good racing movie to watch, still the best racing movie I have ever seen, go watch Ron Howard's Rush film from 2013. Absolutely fantastic piece of film, and just in general, cinema between the late 60s, early 1970s championship battle between James Hunt and Niki Lauda in Formula One. So if you're looking to go and watch a great racing movie, definitely go watch that. But we love Days of Thunder here. I mean, who doesn't love Days of Thunder as a NASCAR fan here? And they're probably going to anticipate a second movie we'll see here shortly within the next couple of years if a script gets written.
I do love Days of Thunder. It's one of my all-time favorites, but my all-time favorite isn't Days of Thunder. It's actually the movie 3.
That is such a bad... Charles, I'm sorry. I am totally throwing you under the bus.
No.
And excuse me, but man, that is such a shitty take. I am sorry. That is so crappy. 3 is such a bad film. How could you say that's a good movie? It's so inaccurate. Even Dale Jr. himself says that that's such a bad movie.
I don't necessarily... Like, there's parts of it I think are bad. But, you know, I like... I like more of the beginning when you get to see Ralph Earnhardt.
Oh, yeah. J.K. Simmons playing Ralph Earnhardt. Who would have thought? And J.K. Simmons is an absolutely decorated actor. You think about him from everything to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy to the award-winning Whiplash film, which I believe he won an Oscar for that film. And, man, I'm being a film buff here, man. This is racing. But, hey, we're talking about racing-related things, so why not, obviously. I did watch that movie a lot growing up, believe it or not, but as time went on and as I grew a little bit more in the film world, because I did take film classes in college, and I'm an avid film lover myself, and I just learned that I was like, this is a really bad movie. But hey, I love the guy who plays Dale Earnhardt, though. He's a very good actor. I forget his name. He was in Saving Private Ryan. He played the sniper. Did a really good job, I think, portraying Dale Earnhardt, but I think the movie just wasn't all there. And Charles, here's the thing. Did you know that race car driver who used to drive in the truck series back in the day, did you know that Chad McCumbee is the one who played Dale Jr.?
I did not know that.
Well, there you go. The more you know. And with that being said, we're getting ready.
We got to go back 20 seconds. Hang on.
What happened?
Watch the 24 and the 19 here in this. They're weaving. Well, he goes like that, and they're kind of weaving back and forth. And watch, boom! They get contact.
Oh!
Under the.
Ooh, wait! Oh, hold on! Wait a minute. Wait, Charles. Let's see if we can back it up again real quick. I wonder if maybe that was the little, hey man, I'm not appreciating what happened on the racetrack, and maybe the 19 possibly. Oh. I think it was just a mistake, honestly. I don't think that was meant by any means necessary there, but
the 24,
you saw it. They made contact.
Yeah, the 24 had to avoid the 42 a little bit there and got checked up, and I think it was just another racing deal, but yeah, those two already got a little history, so I'm sure they're not, on Christmas card terms right now, but they did indeed make contact there under the pacing.
Yeah, and that was really interesting to see. And obviously, all cinema aside, all Days of Thunder aside, we still got a race to finish here. So we're going to restart with 18 laps to go. Remember, Charles, like we had mentioned, Kyle Milliken tried the strategy he just did at the end of Stage 2. He tried it back in Stage 1, got a speeding penalty, went a lap down. Got the lucky dog, got back on the lead lap. And I believe he probably more than likely only took fuel when he came in Stage 2 is because he probably put the tires on at the end of stage number 1, maybe. But we don't know. This strategy tonight has been so all over this place. We've seen the dominant guys take 2 tires. We've seen no tires. We've seen fuel only. We've seen everything imaginable here tonight. And now you have the dominator, Nathan Bigart, who swept both stages. He's going to restart 6th here. That is 2 positions more than where he restarted in Stage 1. So, I mean, this is going to get really interesting. We got 2 brand new guys on the front row. I mean, Michael Blackner started 2nd tonight, I believe. And, yeah, this is going to get interesting. I'm really intrigued to see how this restart goes and how this play pans out.
And, indeed, I'm looking to see how things pan out. You got people moving up and things coming up. And, I got to throw this out there for you, so I'm just going to throw it on the screen for you.
There you go. You want to catch the Dirt Racing Comp Cam series? They're coming exclusively to Race On April 5th and 6th. Obviously, subscriptions going on to Race On Texas. You can catch all the racing action. And, Charles, you got more to talk about it. You know more than me about it, man, so talk about it if anybody's interested.
Yeah, if you want to watch it, obviously, raceon.com. Make sure if you sign up, you select Comp Series as your, not preferred track, but preferred series in this case. 50% of that money does go directly to the series to help with their purses. to help with any payment. You got to pay your employees. So, you sign up, select them, and you're directly supporting that series as well. So, not only do you get to watch it, you actually get to help, pay their purses, pay their drivers, or pay their employees. So, you're directly helping them.
Yeah, and we talked about it with Wesley Outland on Wednesday night. Remember, it's so important to help, obviously. You guys do a great job over at Race On, giving a portion of the proceeds over to the short tracks. And it's so awesome because short tracks are a much-needed revival, probably at a time more than anything right now in the country. And hey, racing's starting to come back, so maybe we'll see some more short tracks get some action here pretty soon. Like we're about to see some action here. Kyle Milliken, Michael Blackner lead him into the restart zone. Green flag is back out, and just like Jose Acosta did at the start of stage 2 in second, Michael Blackner will do the same. He'll restart and get all the way to the line first. Probably not going to be a penalty, but oh no, the 22 overshoots the corner. So does the 31 of Jeff Chandler. Everybody's scrambling through turn number 1, and Milliken goes all the way out front by about 0.4 of a second. Everybody's still scrambling. Tony Solari around in the back of the field. Colton Gum goes around as well, I believe, possibly. And Tony Solari, Charles, just not having the night here in the second half that he wanted.
We'll see exactly what happened here to Tony Solari. If there was no contact, just spun it around the zone, and man, look at everybody avoiding him. You possibly couldn't ask a better spin. You get avoided that easy. So good job for everybody playing. Ring around the 11. They avoid him, and we stay clean and green.
And we do stay clean and green, and I'm probably sure that was the 11 car just snapping out of the corner heading into turn number 2. And you saw the 24 try to send it in on Kyle Milliken going down to 11, down to 12. He'll go to the inside of the racetrack. Back a little bit of air on the left rear by the spoiler. Contact made! Oh no! 42, Kyle Milliken. Oh, and he's going to door the 24. Big contact between the two. Milliken off course big time. And the 24 goes from first down to second. Big wreck, I believe, possibly in the back of the field. Major spins going into turn number 12. Multiple cars going around. You see Bartel. I believe the 37 and Dublé was involved. Brian Bliss. Oh, my goodness. So much chaos here, Charles, on this restart. We're going to have to take a look and see what happened.
And we're going to take a wide angle here if we can. And yes, we may be at a little bit of the tail end of this. We'll zoom up. And yes, something up here just went haywire. You can see a little bit of smoke. And right there, just people just
oh my God,
way overshooting the corner. I'm beginning to wonder if they forgot the turn was coming up because there was really no cars hitting each other. They were all just sliding off the track.
So much drama going on, and Michael Blackner, I believe, is on pit road possibly, or something of a miss on the 22 machine. Charles, I believe this is going to be one of those restart violations possibly. I think he might be getting held here on pit road possibly. We're about to find out and see. And yes, he is being held on pit road, so compared to Acosta, Michael Blackner is going to be penalized here for jumping the restart and beating the leader to the line.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. And I did notice that we had Brian Bliss sitting on pit road as well. He was on track, and then he did go way off track. We caught kind of a clip of it, but he did go off track and now on pit road. So unfortunately, it looks like his night is done. Now in 24th position. Unfortunate for him, but I don't know. The 24 of Acosta, he has gotten really aggressive in these last couple of laps and beating and banging with drivers. So he is determined to get to the front.
I think I have a new name for the 24 machine. And I think it might be the Watermelon Man V2, possibly. And I say that because I'm noticing a lot of the same driving style from the 24 of Jose Costa as the Ross Chastain in the NASCAR Cup Series. And if you're unfamiliar with Ross Chastain in the NASCAR Cup Series, he is the new hardest guy to pass. And it is just chaotic for him. When you're around him, hard to pass him. He's always trying his hardest to keep the race lead, get up to the front of the field. And the 24 of Acosta's probably made anybody has probably made no friends out here tonight. He got into the back of Richie Coy. He got into Tony Solari. He just got into Kyle Milliken, and then you saw Kyle Milliken repay the favor, getting back on track and door slamming the 24 machine. And with that being said, look at the 24 sliding out of turn 20, loses valuable time to Nathan Bigard, who, holy cow, Nathan Bigard, fastest lap of the race. First time we have seen anybody crack below the 11s. Nathan Bigard, 2:10.799 from the driver of the number 01 machine. That is a blistering lap.
It is a fast lap around here. And, you know, we said somebody might be a little sandbagging, maybe not showing their true hand. Well, what we didn't counter is that it was going to be the leader already. So, you know, I thought maybe somebody like Coy or Jeff Chandler, somebody back there was doing that. I did not expect to see that coming out of the leader.
Yeah, that was absolutely really, really fast, and he just drove like a bat out of hell on that last lap just to try to get away from, I think, probably the chaos, trying to separate himself from everybody else. A little bit of wheel hop going into turn number 11 for him. But even though no mishap on the 01 machine, he scoots by down the long straightaway between 11 and 12. He's got about a 4.5 second gap between him and Acosta. And here's Tony Solari, the driver who spun on the initial restart lap, trying to get around Colby Mice and Chad Lang. This is a big gaggle of traffic here. Wayne Grossi just ahead of them. No front bumper on the 4 of Chad Lang. Here comes the 11 of Solari to the outside of the number 9. He'll get by him easily and set his sights on Chad Lang to get inside this top 10 here.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can. Everybody's trying to get every position they can at this point. As we'll see that fast lap still stands, and we're watching some battles back here. And, oh, they're making more contact back here. Lang and Colby Mites going back there. They're battling pretty hard. Again, everybody's putting on a clothes, and we got somebody backwards. I'm not sure who that was, but there it is. The 48 goes around off track. But have you seen the off tracks here for some of these drivers right now? You go back here and you look at someone like Chad Lang, 74 off tracks.
Here's what I want to know, Charles, and you're the one who's got that stat for me, because I only keep a certain portion of the live sim racing open on my screen, but I know you got the whole thing. So here's what I want to know, because of all the chaos that's just unfolded these last 2 to 3 laps. What is the off-track count now on the 24 car?
Let's check on the 24 car, if I can go. Where is it? Surprisingly, he's the lowest with 7. He is the only driver on track currently with less that doesn't have double digits off track.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and with all the chaos that we've seen involving the 24 here tonight, you would probably expect more, but, I mean, he's still wheeling and dealing. I mean, at the end of the day, he's sitting second right now. Everybody else who's been having off tracks and not having as many issues, there are multiple off-track limits exceeded here tonight, but they're still mired back there. But then somebody like Acosta, who's been involved in about 3 or 4 incidents, still running second, and 7 off tracks. That's not bad for the 24 machine. See Richie Coy trying to close the gap on him. He's only back by about 2 seconds to the 24 machine. We know he's fast. We saw them battle. I wonder if this 19 machine, when he gets to this 24, is going to race him just as hard as the 24 raced him back in stage 2.
Yeah, that will be a good question to find out, because as we've seen already, them two do not have the best history here tonight. They're battling. We got a really good battle going on for right now. That is 9th and 10th with Tony Solari and Wayne Grossi, who we have not talked about a whole lot here tonight.
Yeah, we just mentioned Wayne Grossi right beforehand, was in the battle with a big gaggle of traffic. And coming into tonight, I mean, Wayne is so far having a really good season. Already 1 win up on the board so far this season. He's got 2 top 5s. He's got 2 top 10s. Having a solid season. Only back by 75 points at 7th on the board compared to Tony Solari, who needs all the points that he can get there in 9th. You see Grossi in 10th. This would make it his 3rd top 10 of the year if he were to finish right inside there. And then right behind him, look at the run for the number 9 machine of Colby Mice. We usually see this car kind of mid to back of the pack, but he has been having a good night here as well. It's been really out of trouble. We haven't talked about Colby really at all, only when we've seen him in the picture. No incidents for the driver of the number 9 machine, and coming into tonight, the number 9 machine, I'm trying to look right now here at the point standings. He is currently sitting right behind Tony Solari, 172 points back in 28th, and he's only got one top 10 so far this season. So, I mean, this would be a great run for the driver of the number 9 machine. We've seen him. He's always energetic at the end of these races. We've talked to him, on and off the track. Funny guy to be around, and he's doing a great job in the 9.
Yeah, he is doing a great job. And I talked to him when we were talking about day, and we were talking about his paint job, and he's got this blue number on top, the green number on the side, and this teal fade looking car. And then he's like, I don't know what the guy did. Why he was thinking he put that Tractor Supply logo on the back of his car. He's like, he has no clue why the painter put that on the back of his car.
Yeah, and we were joking about him right before Bristol, obviously, and I kept talking to him, and I said, man, from our end, I was like, what in the heck is that number 9 font? Or not the font, rather, but the coloring up at the top of the car. And obviously, from a fast angle, you see him going here at over 170 miles an hour down the straightaway, and it looks like that number 9 is kind of faded into the black hardtop. But it's like a teal blue with the baby blue color, and it fades into a dark midnight type blue. And I asked him, I was like, man, what is that thing? I was like, I can't even see the number. I was like, it just looks like a 0 that's slanted to the left. And he was like, man, what are you talking about? It's got the white outline. And so it did. And I stood corrected. And Colby Mice, who knew the guy with the last name that meant corn in German, would outsmart me with stock cars. But unfortunately, he did 1 week ago. But again, a great night for Colby Mice. Here's a great battle shaping up. 47 of Ryan Hedrick had a solid night going. He's battling really hard with Bartel, and Bartel nearly gets turned there by the 35 of Ben Tracy. Great job by those drivers to wrangle it back up and keep on digging. In the 98 and the 35 machine, they head through the stadium, down into the carousel, about to hit 19. Besides the race lead, Charles, some great battles throughout the entire field.
Yeah, there are some really, really good battles going on here. And, I'm sitting here looking. It's a good thing we're not going to have any more cautions in this race, Jason. I happened to peek down at the time. We got 12 laps to go when they crossed the line. 13 laps to go. It is 9:45 p.m. We are almost coaching in on the Northwest time here. So thank goodness we do not have any more stage cautions. We're going to be going from one broadcast to the other here tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see. And again, if you do want to catch that, and boy, I tell you what, you trust me, you want to catch it. Season 11, season opener for the Northwest Truck Series at the Daytona International Speedway. We saw one hell of a finish last year. Chaos unfolding on the last lap. Caden Anderson was able to pick up the season opener win last year at Daytona. Myself, Wesley Outland, Charles, and obviously Terry Radford were on the call last year, and we had a blast calling it. Tonight it'll be me, Wesley Outland, and obviously Charles, and you do not want to miss it. Coverage will begin, I believe, Charles, if I'm corrected, I believe at 11:30, and it will be a really, really fun race for sure.
Live time is 11:15 Eastern. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, we are borderlining it right now as we speak. We're getting there. We only have 13 laps to go, but we saw post-race, and we're not going to skimp out on these guys just because we have another broadcast to get to. We've already let the league know, hey, push your start time back, do something, work with us here. And, the best part about telling the league to do that, he's also the boss of this channel. So, we have a little bit of wiggle room there. We can try to, extend practice or do something. Do what we need to do because it's our own in-house league, so that gives us a little bit of a wiggle room.
Yeah, and it definitely should obviously be a really interesting race. And I'm jumping over here into the chats, obviously, and I'm checking out some of the things. Doyle Lawrence always talking. Joe Grijalva, I believe that's Joseph's dad, saying, let's go Grijalva. El Paso is watching and ready. El Paso, Texas, always watching the driver of the number 12 machine, who is having a great race there in 6, doing a great job. See Doyle over there talking about Jeff Chandler not making any mistakes. And Jeff does not like these road courses, like he had mentioned earlier. And Charles, running up inside the top 5. Great night for Jeff Chandler in the 31.
Yeah, he is doing a fantastic job. For someone that doesn't like him, he's doing a good job at holding on to a good position. So we'll see if he can hang on to it the rest of the night. But Nathan Bigart still out front leading this thing with a 15-second lead. So, I think he was the one that was holding back on us.
Yeah, probably could have been holding back for sure, and it has been a night to remember for Nathan Bigart, or if the rest of the field is concerned, it might be a night that you want to forget with the dominant surprise from the 01 machine of Nathan Bigart. Mentioned it earlier on. We talked before the broadcast to some of the Fury Motorsport guys. We were down there, and they saw the lap time that Nathan Bigart put up in practice, and they said, well, didn't know Nate was a road course guy. Might have to get him for the 24 hours here next year. And I tell you what, that would probably be your best bet. If I were to put probably a team together for the Rolex 24 hours at Daytona, or maybe the 24 hours at Nürburgring, I tell you what, I would want Nathan Bigart on my team for sure, because he is putting on a clinic like we have not seen since Nick Moreau probably 1 year ago at the road courses. And this might be the new Nick Moreau of the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Swept both stages, fastest in practice, doing a great job in the 01 machine, Charles. Just cannot stress enough about how much this 01 has done here tonight.
Yeah, he's somebody I definitely want on my team as well, and with good reason. As we have currently 11 laps to go, it's just a matter of making sure you don't make those mistakes that we talked about earlier. For Bigart, he's got to do it. I thought maybe Acosta had something. He was a little aggressive. Maybe for he thought he had the car, he could get up there, but Bigart's just saying, no, I'm the car to beat here tonight.
Yeah, and it will be a really interesting one here as Nathan Bigart wrapping around turn number 11. He'll be approaching 10 laps to go here in just about a minute and a half or so, and Jose Acosta back by 16.5 seconds right now. And you see the battle going on there for fourth, or rather third. Richie Coy and Jeff Chandler, they're trying to duke it out. And while we have time, let's just take one more quick commercial break. We'll take you all the way to the finish right after this. I cannot speak. Don't go anywhere. We'll close out the conclusion of the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series from Circuit of the Americas in just a few moments. We'll be right back after this.
Years of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Drag race to the line.
Welcome back. We bring you back just after right where we went to commercial break. You've only missed one lap. Richie Coy, Jeff Chandler still battling for the third spot here. This is the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series live on LSRTV. And Charles, are starting to close in a little bit on Jose Acosta. Battle for second could be shaping up here pretty shortly.
Yeah, I have a sinking suspicion that Acosta has really burned up those tires. Trying to make moves and get to the front and try to get to Big Art, which ain't happening. Big Art's in his own zip code right now. He has a 22nd lead, I believe, something like that, 21. He's in another zip code, and I think Acosta just kind of burned those tires up trying to get to him. So we'll see now if Coy and Chandler can get by him, and I think they can with 9 laps to go, because those are 9 very long laps.
Yeah, obviously over 3 miles of racing per lap, over 2.25 almost minutes worth of racing around for 1 lap here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And it has been a very interesting race for sure. We've seen a lot of beating and banging. We've probably seen some tempers behind closed doors more than likely. I'm sure there will be a lot of talks throughout the league after this one is said and done, between everything from the 24 to the 19 to the 22. Everybody in general is probably going to have a talking to after tonight's race, but it's not a bad thing. It's been a great race. We know that these next gens are really fast. They're really set up for road courses. They went from having a car with a Gen 6 Charles that went from being a great car that was very mediocre, hard to drive on the road courses, to now almost the drivers have said in the real world that this car is almost too good on the road courses. You see one driver go around there at a turn number 20. That's Chad Lang in the number 4 machine, looking like a tour type modified out here.
Yeah, he's got the thing pretty beat up tonight. And on the positive note, those tires and the radiator and everything in the engine staying nice and cool. There you go, you can see it. Not much to the front of that car, so it's staying cool. We'll give him that. As we got more battles starting to brew here, and this one's been there for a little bit. That is the 42 of Milliken, by the way, who started on pit road. Did not have the best of stuff. He's 12 spots from where he should have started, and he is in 5th place. So a fantastic run here for Kyle Milliken.
Yeah, great job for the Bells Brewing Oberon Ale Toyota Camry XSC for Kyle Milliken. Along with that, Joseph Rojava in the number 12 machine, who has had a substantial amount of off-track incidents so far here tonight, but he has been right there in the hunt so far in the top 10 to top 5 range all night long, doing a great job. I'm sure the El Paso folks are watching, and they are cheering on that driver of the number 12 Ford Mustang Dark Horse machine, trying to get a top 5. And Charles, it has been such a struggle for the driver of the number 12 machine this season. Had a lot of incidents here. He's made all 5 starts so far this year. He's only got 1 top 10. Now he's looking at his first top 5, second top 10 of the year, battling Kyle Milliken down the front stretch.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating when you have, you've got the talent, you've got the speed usually, and it just does not end the way you want. And like you said, to do, come out here and do what you can do, and put on a good finish. And right now, like you said, a top 5, it's kind of rewarding, and it definitely gives you a bit of a momentum boost, knowing, okay, I came out here to this tricky track and did it. Now I can go do it at one of these cookie cutter, NASCAR tracks. So yeah, definitely, it's a momentum boost.
Yeah, and momentum is everything in racing. If there's anything besides fast cars and a great driver that you need, it is momentum. Momentum, I cannot tell you, folks, how much momentum will build your reputation, build your strength, your mentality, your physical aspect of driving one of these stock cars, whether it be real or virtual. And it is definitely a good feeling. And Joseph Grajava needs probably everything there is with the season start that he's had so far, with only that 1 top 10, back mired in points by over about 170. So a long way to go within the points if he wants to try to make the playoffs this season. Doing a great job in the 5th spot. And Kyle Milliken, same with him, 6th place run. Great run for the driver of the 42 machine. And, there's a lot of drivers up in this top 10 that, we're not used to really seeing. You talk about a driver like Colby Mice, he's just outside the top 10, doing great in 11th. Ben Tracy's been having a solid night so far in 12th. And, it's just been really a lot of, I guess you could say, a mental game when you probably come to these road courses.
Yeah, it is definitely a mental game, especially, when you're used to turning left, now you're turning right, left, right, right. I mean, it really can mess with you. And I would imagine just about every one of these guys, with the exception of Colby, and we just like to give him a hard time, probably put in a lot of laps practicing. Colby, I don't think he likes to practice as much as some of the others. Then again, he could have been out here practicing. We'll see. But, you really need to put in, a ton of laps on these road courses, unless maybe you're Nathan Bigart. And in that case, I don't know if he needed to or if he just put so many in, and that's why he's, crushing this field right now. We'll definitely talk to him in post-race and find out, did he put a lot of laps in, or is he just a road course ringer here and just loves road course racing?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to find out. I think probably the most laps I have on a road course on iRacing would probably be at New Jersey Motorsports Park, one of my home tracks, only 2 hours from where I live here along the Jersey Shore, and I absolutely love that road course down in Millville, New Jersey. It's a great place, great road course facility. They got 2 tracks there. They have Thunderbolt, which is the usual track everybody runs, and then they have Lightning Bolt, which is very interesting, and it's a great road course. They just recently did a repave, and it's only a test track on iRacing, and I really wish that they would have finished it, but they didn't. But it's used as a base game build track. Love running there. I love whipping around anything that I can get my hands on, whether it be a next-gen car, a Legends car, a Gen 4 car, an Indy car. It doesn't matter. I just love turning laps around that place. It's one of the things I like to do when I try to wind down or want to have a good time and just kind of keep to myself. It's a great thing to do. And you see all these drivers who put in lots of laps of practice, and I can only imagine that some of these guys probably did a lot more practicing than they're used to at an oval track. Because Charles, like you mentioned, drivers making practice, and practice, in fact, does make perfect. We've seen Nathan Bigart. Look at the gap he has on Jose Costa. It's almost 27 seconds right now on the race leaderboard, and it just goes to show you that when you come to a track like Circuit of the Americas, or really any road course, there's definitely some, kind of altercation with, I don't know if I should practice, but you come to a road course like this, and it's almost like you have to practice. If you don't practice, you're not going to do very well.
Yeah, you definitely agree with that, and practice does make perfect, or, some people, it just makes better. Nobody has definitely been perfect out here. I still can't believe that Acosta is under 10 off tracks. He only had 8. 15 for your leader. You got 10 for Coy, 19, and you go further down in here, by the way. Looking at Grahava, who's still got a good run here in 5th place, 98 off tracks here tonight.
Holy crap. Oh my gosh. That's insane. 98 off tracks, and I'm sure probably, Charles, within these next 6 to 5.5 laps, that will not be the last of it. There is definitely going to be an over 100 limit for that 12-car machine here tonight. But still doing a great job, though. Again, 5th place for him. Not really a lot of battles going on. The only one that's probably shaping up is about for 14th, 15th, and 16th. Sherwood Williford, James Wallace, Wayne Grossi having a solid battle there coming out of turn number 20. This is to try to get into the top 15. James Wallace wants to do just that behind Williford, and Sherwood trying to chase down this 7 machine. And Charles, Sherwood Williford's probably kind of had a little bit of a quiet season. We talked to him once, I believe it was at Las Vegas. Not the best night for the 33 machine, but he's gained some spots from where he started. Quiet night for the driver of the 33.
Yeah, by the way, we hit that century mark of 100 just now.
Oh, there you go.
I've never seen 100 off tracks. And, it's not to say, he's not wrecking. He's just barely off track. And it'll count it. He's not the only one. We got Colton Gum with 89, 90. We got a couple of more down there as well as in the 40s, 50s, 60s. So it is really spread out here. Again, I'm just baffled that Acosta only 8. So cleanest off tracks, of course, for the night. And yeah, you're right. The best battle here right now is right here with Sherwood Williford, and that is Wayne Grossi. And it looks like the 67 of James Wallace going to get in this battle as well.
Yeah, and Wallace again, right to the back bumper of the 33 machine, thinking about peeking out a line here, and he will, down to the inside of the racetrack on the 33. Will he be able to outbrake Williford? He will not. Tucks back in line behind the Mountain Dew number 33 machine as they try to chase down Grossi, who goes a little bit wide, opens up the door for Williford. He'll try to head down to the bottom. Might be some contact. They're nearly 3 wide, going through the stadium portion of the racetrack into now 17. Coming in, here comes the 33, sends it down in there, he's going to make contact, nearly goes around, door slams the 7 machine of Wayne Grossi, oh, and he almost turns him, and he nearly did, and he will. There goes the 33 off track. Could only imagine that Wayne Grossi was really frustrated with the move that Sherwood Williford put on him, so he decided, man, you're going to do that to me, I'm going to do that to you. Sent the 33 nearly around, able to save it, but at what cost? Probably nothing. With 4 laps to go next time by. Man, what a battle that was right there for quite a moment.
Yeah, you would think we were on a short course like Bristol or Martinsville or something, the way tempers are flaring here tonight. Again, there are going to be some people that have some choice words for each other. Whether it's intentional or not, these guys, they're not going to be on each other's Christmas list. Maybe they'll have time to redeem themselves in each other's eyes. But if not, they're going to get one less Christmas card come December.
I have always said it in my head, and I'm going to say it now out loud. I personally, throughout my 22 years of living and 22 years of watching racing, yes, I've been watching racing just as long as I've been bored. Day one, in diapers, on the couch, with my pacifier and my milk bottle. I've always watched the races every single week. And I will tell you that for my years of experience watching NASCAR stock car racing for over 20 years, that road course racing produces probably the most temper flaring other than short tracks. I personally just, every year, I mean, you think about all the battles that have happened in NASCAR, all the tempers that have flared on the road course. You just think to the late 2010s with Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski, or Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski at Watkins Glen, Ryan Blaney and Jimmy Johnson, 2019 at Watkins Glen. So many others throughout the years. You just see a lot more tempers flaring, Charles, I feel like, on the road courses, because there's so many parts of the racetrack where you could be faster than another guy, or another guy could be faster than you, compared to the usual 4 turns like you're used to seeing. In this case, this course being 20 turns, you have 20 opportunities to make a driver pissed off.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And, if we're referring to our first stuff, I have pictures, and obviously I don't quite remember it, but I do have pictures. When I was little, the first place I ever went was Colonel C's dirt racetrack. I was, a week or so old. I was in a black little baby tuxedo, and for the record, I still have that baby tuxedo in my closet. So
no way.
Yes, I still have it to this day. I can only imagine what my parents were thinking, putting me at a dirt racetrack a week old in a black tuxedo in Texas weather. So keep in mind, born in April, so it was probably 90 degrees outside. So but apparently they kept it, and then I have the tuxedo now.
That's insane. I know for a fact I still have my first shirt I ever wore to my first NASCAR race, and it's funny because I remember everything I was wearing that day. I wore everything. I remember everything I was wearing. I was wearing a Dale Jr. National Guard hat. I had the 2008 Standard. Everybody bought it because it was the first shirt out. The Dale Jr. National Guard and Amp Energy green shirt that was side by side. I had probably, I want to say, it was cargo shorts, I think. It was the pale cargo shirt, and I had sneakers on. And I remember that very vividly. It was the 2008 Camping World 400 at Dover in the fall race I went to, my first race. And I'll be going back there, obviously, April 28th. The Monster Mile should be a fun one for the Worth 400. Looking forward to it. Love that place. It's probably closest thing to home, I'd say. More than likely only 2.5 hour drive for me. And I know I do still have that shirt, Charles, so I gotta find it one of these days. The question is I wonder if I still have the hat, because I have so many dang hats in my room, or even upstairs in the attic. I gotta go through all of them. But Everybody remembers their first race for sure, even if you're just a baby in a little tuxedo like Charles was, and he didn't even have a consciousness by then, but he remembers, he still has the tuxedo. I'm just baffled that they put you in a tux. Oh no! Wayne Grossi around through the stadium section tried to come down in front of James Wallace, and despite Tuxedo stories, the number 7 machine goes around for a loop going through there.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look here at the replay and see what happened. And yeah, right there, just hooks him.
Oh.
And again, I don't think that was anybody's fault. They were just taking 2 different lines, and those lines came together. And, that's the product of it right there. He's trying to whip it around and get going again. But we are closing in on 2 laps to go. So, Grossi got a fast car, but just not the car to win tonight, as that still belongs to Big Art, and they have incredibly strung out here in these last closing laps.
Yeah, and Nathan Bigart has put half a minute between him and Jose Acosta, even more. And again, back to the contact between Grossi and Wallace. It looked like Grossi there, Charles, going into the stadium portion, heading into 16 and 17. I think he tried to get down to the bottom to cover Wallace, but Wallace just had such a good run, and the 7 didn't have enough momentum up the corner that unfortunately led to him just coming right down to the 67. So just a racing deal. I mean, it could have been prevented, but I understand what the 7 was trying to do. But they keep it green and clean for the time being. But this race has been anything but clean for a lot of these drivers. The only one who probably hasn't had one incident on the racetrack tonight would be this 01 of Nathan Bigart, who, again, with 2 laps to go, Charles, has just put on probably the only clinic we've really seen so far this season.
Yeah, and it has been a clinic for sure. That's all you can say. It's been a butt whooping, a clinic. He has really swept this race. He didn't have to lead the entire race. Some people tried to pull different strategies, but they just did not work out.
Yeah, and he's coming around now down into turn number 10, about to hit 11 into the hairpin corner before he hits the long straightaway. Battle for second, though, starting to shape up. Richie Coy only back by about 5 or 6 tenths or so from Jose Acosta. So the battle for second could be shaping up here pretty shortly as Nathan Bigart starts to head down the long straightaway. Nobody in sight of the 01 machine. It just goes to show you, Charles, how dominant he's been here tonight. Yeah,
it definitely has. And, again, almost 1 lap to go. Again, we are closing in right on the next broadcast too, but we're going to make sure we talk to these guys. Man, what a race, though. He's got to be thrilled. If you get your first win and you get it in dominating fashion, I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, it's just the more bittersweet. I did the same thing earlier a few weeks ago. Back at Auto Club in second split for C Open. I started on the pole, and I didn't put on a clinic, but I led over half the race, and it felt pretty damn good to go out there and lead the amount of laps I did and go on and beat some of the best guys on iRacing. I felt pretty good about that one, and he's going to feel pretty good about it if he can just hang on for 20 more corners as he comes off turn number 20. The white flag will be displayed to the 01 Ford Mustang Dark Horse of Nathan Bigart. White flag is out. 1 lap to go, presented by CRN as he heads into turn 1. Just cannot say enough about how strong this 01 has been here tonight, Charles. We talk about all the road course guys coming into tonight, and believe it or not, I did not have Nathan Bigart on my drivers to look out for list until the end of practice, and the only thing I had noted for him was that he was the points leader, A, and B, he was the fastest in practice, and he has proven us right here tonight.
Yeah, he definitely has for sure. Again, wasn't on the list of this guy's gonna dominate the race and have a good show, but he has done it here tonight so far, as he's only got a few more sections of this race. He's gonna go into the little bitty hairpin there, so right about half the track left to go. And he will be putting this thing in victory lane unless something absolutely crazy happens.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. We've seen crazy before. We could very well see it, but it's looking like it's not going to happen for the 01 of Nathan Bigard as he approaches the slow lap machine of the 7 of Wayne Grassi, who's about to be 1 lap down in the 17th spot after being turned from James Wallace just a few moments ago. And they head into the stadium portion of the racetrack through 16, 17, and about to come into 18 once he hits the carousel here. And it has been a night to remember for the 01 of Nathan Bigard, wrapping around the carousel now for the final time in the number 01 machine. And it has been a dominating fashion. He was fast in practice. He started on the pole. He won stage 1. He won stage 2. And he has led just about every lap since. Everybody better pick up the paper, the pen, pencil, whatever it may need be, and take some notes, because Nathan Bigard has put a whooping on the field here tonight. He is the winner at Circuit of the Americas, first career victory for the driver of the number 01 machine. Came in late on the scene in season 2023C, and he comes into 2024A with a head of steam, one of the most consistent drivers. And just like that, Charles picks up his first win of the year and his career in FTSR.
Yeah, he definitely does, and we're running short on time, so we'll make an executive decision here. We want to get to the interviews as quickly as possible, so we are going to make the decision here. We kind of know where everyone finished in the race, so we're going to opt to bypass the unofficial results so we get more time with these drivers. So, Jason, yeah, it's been a good one, but looking forward to talking to these drivers.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him here in just a short minute. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap this up, get the top 3, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage here of the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Wrapping this broadcast up here pretty shortly. We've gathered up 2 of the top 3. We'll see if we can talk to Jose Acosta, but we'll head over to 3rd place, Richie Coy. Richie, it was kind of a really wild night, man, for you. I mean, right there at the end, the pit strategy calls, it was definitely interesting to say the least, man. What's your takeaway from tonight's race?
I'm thankful it's over. It's a wild race. It's a wild track. It's a wild car and a wild track. And I didn't pit at all. I pitted, but I didn't take tires at all. So I ran the same set of tires throughout the entire race. And I don't know if it hurt me or what, but it gave me good track position. And once you have track position here, it's kind of key.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of key. And obviously there you had a lot of great battling here tonight, man. How was the racing going on there outside on the racetrack here tonight?
I didn't really have a lot of action in the beginning and the middle parts. Jose and I had some, I guess, in the stage 2 and then there at the end. This road course, the way that these cars run on this road course, it's really hard to actually race with anybody. So you kind of have to get there and get by as quickly as you can. And if you can't, then you end up having some kind of contact. And, I didn't mean to slide up into him. I just tried to get under him, and car just didn't turn. And we got together. Thank God we both went straight. And, it was a good battle there. But, it's an overall good night, I guess.
And who do you got to thank for that 3rd place finish here tonight on that number 19 machine?
I got to finish swallowing my Victory Fuel. Victory Fuel, Martin Sports for being on board. Fury Motorsports, teammates. Some of them had some rough nights tonight, but they were able to put a nice car underneath me tonight, and I didn't screw it up too bad. So that's always a plus there. Thanks, Tony's mom and dad, for watching. Thanks to FTSR. Thanks for you guys for doing the broadcast.
That's Richie Coy, driver, the number 19, coming home third tonight. Now we'll head over the driver who comes home the bridesmaid tonight, Jose Acosta. Man, you were so fast in that portion of the race, about second and third stage. Man, what more did you need to catch that 01?
I don't know, a miracle, man, because Big Heart was fast. I couldn't catch him at all.
Yeah, obviously, we saw the clinic he put on in that 01 machine. But, man, talk about, obviously, the aggressiveness that you had here tonight. You saw a lot of contact, or at least we saw a lot of contact with you here tonight. I mean, what brings it, the aggression out here at these road courses? Is it just because it's the kind of style? Do you like it? Like, what is it that just brings out the dog in you here at these road courses, man?
Well, Richie couldn't put it any better, basically. But there's all the factor that happened personally at my house. Like my rig, every time I was hitting the brake too hard, it was sliding up, and it was sliding up, and it got to a point where it was getting frustrated. I had to like pull it back again during the race. Then out of nowhere, my eyes start itching. I was racing with one eye. I was so frustrated. Then at one point, I hit the 11. I think it was Tony. Tony. And I apologize for it. I thought I had I had room, but I guess not. I guess he stayed on the bottom side on that lane, and I went up and I actually hit him. And yeah, it was actually frustrating after that. It was so frustrated to try to focus in the track because so many things going on. And then Nathan was so fast; it was also frustrating me. I'm like, oh my god, I can't catch that guy. And man, I mean, I guess focus, man. I lost focus. I really need to practice a lot more road. I'm not really good at it. And I don't know. I didn't change no tires. So like Richie said, like track precision was everything. Kept it in front. And yeah, just managed to finish second. That's all I could do tonight.
And who do you got to thank for that awesome second place finish here tonight, man?
Well, first I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, Mag One Performance, Victory Fuel, and the WolfpackCrew.com.
There you go. That's Jose Acosta, driver, the number 24 machine, coming home second. Now we'll head over to Victory Lane, presented by Victory Fuel. Remember, if you go to drinkvictory.com, you could use code KOI19 at checkout to save 10% off your order. And Nate Bigart, finally, man, a winner in the FTSR series. How does it feel to get that first victory in the monkey off your back?
Man, it feels great. Like, unbelievable. I was excited to come over to this league, because Joe told me the quality of driving that they had. And I've seen it firsthand. And to keep getting these, I'm getting top fives. But, man, these guys are just fast. So just battling it out with them. And I was hoping, I was staying positive, knowing if I stayed in the top five long enough, one of these days, hopefully, a victory would come my way. And I was interested to see, the road course, what the competition would be like, because I know there's a big difference between, road racing and oval racing. But I tend to do both. My iRating's pretty much the same in both, so I alternate between the two. And yeah, definitely excited to be able to finally just win a race in this series and try to help out the points. But again, back to the oval next week. It's going to be tough because these guys are fast.
Yeah, they're definitely fast, man, but you were fast all night long. You just mentioned that you like both. I mean, do you feel like you just have a knack for road racing? I mean, because, dude, we have not seen a race or really a clinic put on by somebody in quite some time here in the road racing stuff of these things.
Yeah, I would definitely say I really enjoy the Cup car, and it's a big, heavy car, so it's different than any other type of road racing. But I'm not big on the high downforce cars like the GTPs or anything. I stick with like GT3s or Mazdas, something that you really got to throw around the track. And it's not exactly like these things, but it's about as close as you can get on the roadside. But yeah, I really enjoy these cup cars on a road course just because they're getting towards that GT3 style. You know, they definitely got more grip than the old NASCAR type of cars. They got more downforce. You just, I got a great feeling for being able to throw it through the corners and hold that, like, you're not quite in a slide, but you pretty much, it feels like you are. And I think that's the difference, especially at this track, to just get that extra speed is you got to go easy through it, but it's really, you're on the edge of out of control every corner, and you just got to hold it there in that very fine line.
And who do you got to thank tonight, man, for your first victory of the year and also your career here?
Yeah, I got to thank the league themselves, FTSR, doing the broadcast, LSRTV. Thank Fuego Paints, Fuego Autosports, Joseph Grajava for bringing me into the league, hooking me up with a nice paint job. This beautiful Ford Mustang out here on the track. You know, got to thank. I just got my delivery of the Victory Fuel today, so appreciate Richie and the discount code. Everything they're doing for the league there, Victory Fuel. That lemon stuff's awesome. Can't wait to get into the case. Give a shout out to all the fans out there watching, and I know Mom's watching live, so love you, Mom.
Gotta thank Mom as always. It's Nate Bigard coming home P1 here tonight from Circuit of America's first career victory. And obviously, you can catch them next week from Richmond, obviously, on April 1st. Should be a good one. That's going to conclude tonight's broadcasting coverage here on LSR TV. For everybody, Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, FTSR, everybody that's a part of this action here on iRacing for the FTSR series. I'm Jason Rockefeller saying good night. We'll see you next week from Richmond.